Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan, and we're doing a test drive this episode because I am high as a fuck right now. So we're doing a little bit of a test drive. You might have to take over the wheel a few times, if not for the whole show. But the draft is in 2 weeks, so we're probably gonna take edibles during the draft, regardless of what happens. And who knows, maybe I will do it sometime in the future, and you can join with me. So, how are we doing? Only 2 weeks till the draft. Carolina is on the verge of winning their first Stanley Cup in 20 years. We got Edmonton being the most entertaining team in the NHL, but this time off the ice with them trying to hire Mike Babcock and Darnell Nurse. And where do you want to start here? Because there's still a lot to go. There's still even the Dylan Larkin fallout and what's to come. So, yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks out from the draft, I think we got to start with what puck we still have being played. And I mean, we talked about it last show. I just don't think I did not expect this cup final to be nearly as competitive as it was. I didn't expect it to be as nearly as back and forth as it's been this entire series. The shifts in momentum have been really something to behold, especially offensively. I didn't really expect Carolina to be able to go blow for blow with Vegas when their stars started picking up speed, and Carolina's done just that. And it's funny now that they're one win away from a cup. I was like texting someone about this morning. It's going to go down as one of the most dominant cup runs ever in hindsight.
The worst they can go is 16-4, and I think the best one, at least in the cap era, was the Kings when they won 16-4. Also, Colorado, I think, went 16-4.
Yes,
so yeah, it's those two teams right there.
But it's rare. It's rare air they're in right now, and I think that speaks to where they've set up their roster. I think it speaks to Eric Tulsky making two massive acquisitions, and not only Nikolai Ehlers, but I don't think Keandre Miller gets enough credit as an acquisition. He gave up a first and a second for this guy and Scott Morrow.
Yeah.
And he's their number one defenseman in this finals, like 100%. He's the play driver right now. And it's great because it's allowing guys like Sean Walker and Shane Gostisbehere and all these other,
like, been awesome. We talked about him last podcast. I didn't mention the fact, even though I was looking at the Wikipedia page and the stats, he had 50 points in 55 games this year. And he's been great offensively, and he's hasn't looked bad defensively, and we haven't been able to say that about Shane Gostisbehere for years. But yeah, just like to speak to Carolina, their management, their coaching, how they were able to get him for so cheap. I think he is a UFA next year. So, and he's gonna get some offers, definitely better offers than what he got last time. Just I'll let you continue, but I had to pay respect to Shane Gostisbehere because I don't think I did enough last episode.
And I think Shane Gostisbehere is the perfect example of how this team's been constructed because he's their fifth defenseman. If you look at their depth chart, he is their fifth defenseman on their depth chart. And to have that as your fifth option, it's like having Nick Leddy on steroids in the cup teams. Like, that's exactly what it is, if we're being honest. And for a guy who had a pretty quiet playoff, Sean Walker's really come alive in these last couple games. It's making a massive difference in the offensive zone. And it's probably not Chatfield or Slavin's best series, although Chatfield had a great play off the boards in game 4 for the Stankoven goal. But that doesn't matter when you're that deep on the back end. When you have guys like Miller and Walker and Gostisbehere, they're all stepping up when you need them to most. And it's a sight to behold. And I think the most reigning compliment to that is how Brandon Bussy's handled being transferred into the vet. This guy's first 2 starts are in the Stanley Cup final, and he won both games. And the second game was damn convincing because Vegas had their chances in game 5. And Bussy shut the door at every chance. I was a little worried after that first delay of game and that Dorofeyev goal went in. I was like, okay, so maybe Vegas figured it out. Eichel's on the rush. I don't know about you, but I was talking to my coworkers before game 5, and I just said, there's 2 guys I'm looking at right now in game 5, and it's their 2 highest paid players. It's Jack Eichel. Well, I guess Jack Eichel's not anymore, but it's Jack Eichel and it's Sebastian Aho. Which one of these guys are going to put their team over the hump? And yeah, Jack Eichel has all these assists. He's doing all this play driving. It's so great. We had to hear it with Taves for years. I'll bring it up right now. He has 2 goals. At the end of the day, it's 2 goals.
2013.
2 goals are 2 goals, no matter how you write it. And he had a bang-on chance in game 4 to tie it. Couldn't. He's had his chances in game 5, and it's a little disappointing because he has that high gear in him. But at the same time, didn't really do it at the Olympics offensively. So like this is, and I think and then the opposite side of the spectrum, as I was saying, Sebastian Aho. We've been waiting for him all
time.
series.
Him and Svechnikov.
Oh, and like both of them, what a way to get off the schneid. Svech in stride on the power play, on the right circle, just bang on. Like probably the most Jonathan Taves power play goal I've seen in the playoffs in a long time. And then on top of that, you have Sebastian Aho, who Sean Walker hits him on a pass, skate to stick
Great
like
pass,
TJ Oshie
yeah.
game 6
It's
against the Lightning. Top shelf. And like you can tell when these players are in their own head just by what kind of goal they get off the schneid. Like Sebastian Aho went top shelf on his goal. Like the guy has been just missing these chances. And his celebration told the whole story. Same with Svechnikov. And that's the difference in game 5. That's the difference in game 5. Carolina Stars stepped up to the plate, and let's be honest, Vegas' Stars have gone cold at the time you really don't want them to. Dorofeyev's heating up, which is good. But
he needed that game. Yeah.
You need more out of Eichel, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but you're probably going to need more out of Marner. And I know Toronto fans are just salivating at the narrative because I was looking at it too. Like it's games 5 through 7. That's where Marner has made his name in the worst way possible. And not going to pretend like games 4 and 5 didn't show that, but there's some players have that killer instinct. We talk about this all the time. Who's going to have that on Vegas? It can't just be Howden shooting at 40% because God knows he had his chances last night and he got robbed for the first time all series, it felt like. And Mark Stone can't score at a goal a game clip like Jordan Staal, who we haven't even talked about. This is what I'm talking about with this Cup final. There's so many stories. I can go in any direction, but I did want to make a point about the star power. So I kind of want to hear what you thought about games 4 and 5 and where you think the series goes for game 6.
Well, I don't even know. Like, we didn't talk about the best game that happened, and that was game 3. Vegas in full cruise control after Marner getting that hat trick, and then Carolina gets one. I think it was Marnick, and you're like, oh, they got their one. And then all of a sudden it's 4-2. It's like, oh, okay, it's a game. And then when they made it 4-3, I think it was 3 goals in 40 seconds, the fastest time that 3 goals has been scored in the Stanley Cup final ever. I remember it just brought me back to 2015 game 4 against the Ducks. I think it was 3 and 37 seconds they got. So it felt eerily similar to that. And I think what has separated Carolina apart from Vegas is the power play. Game 2 is so huge because when they got their power play figured out late in the game and Vegas hasn't, I think that's kind of been the difference because they felt so close. But in this game, game 5, that is, Vegas got on discipline and Carolina took full advantage of that. And yeah, they went up 4-0. Carolina came all the way back to tie it, and definitely a ball busting loss, like to come all the way back just to lose in double overtime. Shea Theodore bank shot hits the skate of your goalie, who was great for you in relief, and that's the only goal you're allowed, and you lose the game. And I remember you texted me, you said this kind of has go back to 2015 conference final, kind of has Ducks game 5 feel to it, or yeah. And yeah, I felt that was where maybe the seed of doubt was planted, because that's what I always think. Game 5, that is when Frederik Andersen got broken. Funny enough, Andersen is going to be like on the other end of it this year. And the Hawks won game 6 and 7. The Hurricanes saw how good Bussy was. It's like he jumped into the series, hadn't played the whole playoffs. So it was like, yeah, I'm already better than Hart and Andersen, and almost got them to win there. He starts game 4, did just fine. And yeah, especially in game 5, he shined through, as opposed on the other end where Carter Hart has let in 4 goals every game of the Stanley Cup final. And that's a record start for 5 straight games. But yeah, them being down 4-0 might have been the best thing they ever had happen to them in this series, because they got Bussy starting, and yeah, the whole team just almost seems more confident in front of Bussy than Andersen, even though Andersen did a great job coming into the final after a very poor regular season. And I don't want to assign this to it, but I wonder like how much Claude Lemieux passing away did like maybe mentally affected him. I don't know. I don't want to comment on things. There could be other things. This is the 4th round of the Cup final, but I remember he had that performance. They beat the Canadiens after that happened. So yeah, I don't know. But at this point, they're 1 win away from the Cup. we knew the Hall, Stankoven, and Blake line has been the main driver for Carolina the whole playoffs, but it was like, okay, who else is going to get the offense? You had your big game from Svechnikov and Aho finally, because I think especially like you and I have definitely been like they've been much maligned and we've kind of gone after about them in the past. Are they true superstars? They have their moments, and man, Unc Jordan Stahl has turned it back, going to be 38 later this year, and he has 5 Stanley Cup goals in the first 5 games, and he might have just propelled himself into Conn Smythe conversation, because there's a lot of names on Carolina. And yeah, like we bring it, that line has been great, and then Nick Ehlers has been great as well. Just yeah, everything just seems to be clicking with Carolina right now, and with Vegas not having William Karlsson for Game 6, which is what turned around the playoffs for them. I don't know, man. I think Carolina closes this out on the road.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I'm glad you brought up William Karlsson, because we talked about it going into the playoffs. Like, William Karlsson is the key to unlocking this top 9.
So underrated.
You put him with Marner on the second line, you drop Hurdle to the third line, and then your 1, 2, 3 is Eichel, Karlsson, Hurdle, and then you got Marner on that line that has Karlsson. It's just like, it's such another level to their depth. And like, I don't know how Torts is going to counter that necessarily. I don't know if it's with Marner at center. I don't know if they move Howden to center. I would think it's Marner,
Hurdle,
just because that's where they're more confident. But it's really interesting right now with Vegas, because they're going to need their stars to step up. I don't doubt, like, if I was a betting man, if you're a betting man, I'd bet on Mark Stone scoring on Sunday. There's not a doubt in my mind that he's going to get up for this game. I know Shea Theodore is going to get up for this game. We talked about it in the Colorado series. Eichel had his big goal in that series. He needs one this next game. If they're going to force Game 7, it's either got to be him or it's got to be Marner. Because if it's not either of them, Carolina's winning tick in this thing. And like you said, you said it earlier, it's the seed of doubt planted in your mind that even if you're up 4-0, this team could come back in a snap. And that's why I texted everyone as soon as that Game 3 happened. This is Game 5, 2015, Hawks, Ducks. I'm picking Canes all the way now. I was Vegas going into the series. After that game, it was Carolina, because it takes a true amount of resolve, and it takes a strong team. And I'm not talking physically. I'm talking mentally strong. So look at a 4-0 lead in the face and say, we're just going to chip away at this like we do always. And then on top of that, build momentum off that, and then just play better as it goes on. Like, Game 5 was their best game of the series by a country mile, but I'd argue Game 4 was even more impressive, because they were able to hit the counterpunch at the right time on Vegas finally, which didn't seem like they were able to do. And yeah, that helps when, Jordan Stahl, I think, has like 6 goals in 11 cup final games or something. Or I think it's like, I don't know. He's got some crazy stat for goals in the cup final dating back to his 09 run too. Guy knows when to get up. Like, there's a 12-year-old right now that thinks Jordan Stahl is the best player in the world. It's hysterical. It's the definition of putting the team on your back. And you mentioned it earlier, how this top 9 is stacking right now. Because yeah, the top line hasn't performed. We haven't even talked about the second line, and Hall and Jackson Blake are a point a game. Taylor Hall could have had like 3 goals last game. He's a little snake bit.
I mean, I said that whole second line because I feel like they've just been the best, and we've talked about them enough. But but like
that's the point. Like, it's just when your third line has Ehlers and Stahl on it, and then you have the flexibility of a guy like Jordan Martinook, who I think is going to be him and Carrier are going to go down as the most underrated players on this cup run, because they have made great plays in a pinch. They've made some great plays in a pinch. And that first goal, or what was it? I think it was the Aho goal. That's all Martinook behind the net, breaking the puck.
Yeah, he turned it over right to Walker. Great point, and like a great play, just like a great play all around for different reasons, like different types of reasons. Like Martinook grinding it out, Walker able to hold in at the point, and Aho able to corral and just put it top shelf.
That goal alone just summarizes how the Hurricanes operate, and you could tell when they're feeling it in the offensive zone, because they cycle that puck so well, and they're cycling the puck well because a guy like Keandre Miller has the puck for like 3 seconds in space. Like, that's how efficient they are with this on the forecheck. And I just think it's really shocking because Vegas is hitting the fuck out of them this series. Like, we haven't even talked about that. I think Cole Smith like broke the franchise record in hits in a game. Like, it's just they're trying to murder them in the bottom 6. But it doesn't matter because Carolina's so strong-willed and they're so well coached and they stick to their guns and they stick to their system. For the first time ever, they're getting rewarded.
The 2015 conference final. No human can withstand this amount of hits, and they were wrong.
Definitely wrong. And it's just damning. It's really damning when you look at it at the end of the day. I just think we've seen 3 separate teams in these playoffs try to just beat their team down to a pulp, and it has not worked any time. It has not worked any time. And we talk about it all the time. This is more of a mental game than it is a physical game. That's why guys like Logan Stankoven are some of the strongest dudes on the ice. It's because this is a lot bigger than anything outside of his body. And that goes so far. And I just think it starts with the coach. I know Rod Brindamore has his haters, but it's about time he starts getting his flowers. And I think this cup win, if they can pull it off, that'll finally give it for him, because this guy has it doesn't get talked about the stuff he's done off the ice too. He literally held out on a contract to make sure all of his assistants got raises. It doesn't get talked about enough. You know what I mean? It's just, the guy's a stand-up guy. The
man loves Rollywood.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, if he was my coach, I'm glad he's defending my team in the media every fucking chance he gets. I get other teams getting annoyed by it. You lost and you're making excuses to the media, or you're fucking, covering. What he does is take the bullet for his team every fucking time. And what does the team do the next game? Fucking make up for it. And I think that's the summary of this series right now. Because every time that they faltered, I would love to know what got said in that Game 3 locker room. I would love to know what got said. Maybe it was dead silent. I don't know. But whatever got said in that locker room might win the Canes the series. Genuinely.
Yeah, Brindamore, I think I saw he has been involved, since the Hurricanes have moved over from Hartford, he has been involved with all but 2 playoff wins. So as a player and as a coach, he's been around for all the success with the Carolina Hurricanes. And finally gonna, how many players have won as a coach? You've won as a player and a coach. That's got to be so we've had players and GMs.
Quenneville, did Quenneville win as a player? No, he didn't. Did he?
I don't think so. He might have.
I just know he played. That's why I was like, he might have.
Yeah, I know he won as an assistant with Colorado, but I don't think he won as a player.
And the Gretzky guy surely won.
Yeah, surely he wasn't the coach of the opposing team that Ovechkin scored that crazy goal against, and that your brother was in the stands for, and Austin Matthews.
I was in the stands too. Just kidding.
Oh, were you?
I was. Yeah, I was. It was a family trip.
Oh,
my brother had a tournament in Phoenix that weekend.
Oh, you were there. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, I'm learning new lore right now.
Listen, I was at that game. Brian was at that game. Austin Matthews was at that game. It was a pretty iconic night, for being honest.
The most iconic Americans in hockey at that game. and you could throw Wayne Gretzky in there for
put that in your pipe and smoke it, Wayno.
Take that, liberals.
Man.
Well, yeah, Carolina good.
God, I
Vegas
love the
in a bit of trouble.
God, I love the cup final. It's just, we talked about it going into this series. I think immediately I texted you and I was like, well, get ready for a shit ton of 2-1 games, because there's no way this is going to be high event hockey. I'm so happy to eat my words. This might be one of the best cup finals we've seen at least in St. Louis and Boston. At least since then.
Man, it might be the best one this decade. No, it is the best one.
100% it's the best one this decade.
Yeah.
It might be the best one. There's
last 10 years.
Definitely last 10 years. Unless you count one of those Pittsburgh Cups, but I don't think those were as close as people remember. And Washington's definitely
No,
neither the Lightnings were. Honestly, it's the best since the bias, but not really biased, because every Hawks Lightning game was a 1-goal game besides the last one, and that was 2-0. So I think that describes. And to be honest, this series has been 1 goal all besides the last 2 games, and one was an empty netter, and the last game they actually got bumped. But
still been close.
I mean, shoot. It's funny. Vegas has lived by the PDO and died by the PDO. And right now the PDO is not going in their favor. So
They're getting stabbed just like Marc-Andre Fleury was back in the bubble. Getting stabbed by it. That's a callback.
DeBozo making an appearance in the Cup final is crazy. Islanders head coach.
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
Oh God, what was I gonna say? I can't even keep my memory straight here.
Well,
I want to say Carolina has also been a road warrior team. The only game they lost was that game 3 overtime, and if they win game 6, then they will have only lost one game. No regulation games lost on the road. Just
the dominant run. It's one of the more dominant runs. And like, listen, you look at it on paper. They beat the Sens, the Flyers, the Habs.
They did exactly what they needed to do. That's what I wanted to say.
You play who's in front of you. Like,
yeah.
And I think it speaks volumes that they're being so dominant. Like, it's just like they know it's a cakewalk to the Cup. Like, it's funny. We always talked about when Florida got eliminated, like all these teams need to realize the boogeyman's not there. Carolina's the only team that realized, hey, the boogeyman's not fucking here right now. Let's go crazy. Like, makes me happy for them. But also, like, still got to win one more game, and Vegas is not going down lightly. Carter Hart might, but the rest of the team won't. He's been abysmal. Goodness gracious.
I think we'll see another crazy game, and I think is it too late to go back to Hill? I think you ride and die by Carter Hart.
I mean, you heard Torts' quote, right? It's the stupidest question.
Why would you even ask me that question? Yeah.
Listen, like, I know everyone's over Torts' antics, but like, I don't know what you expected to ask some questions like that. Like, you know the response you're gonna fucking get. Like, and then people act surprised when he does. It's just like he's been doing this shit for as long as we've been coherent. Like, come on, like, whatever. If they lose, does he get re-signed?
I don't think he was going to re-sign regardless. Like, if they won, I think. No, he's going to Edmonton. Could you imagine? Well, we can't get Cassidy. How about Tortorella, the guy that just won the Cup?
Close enough, champ.
Sure. I almost think that's a good way to transition into the next topic, unless you have any more notes on the Cup.
No, it's a good transition.
Here's one.
Oh, yeah.
I have one last question, though. Who do we think? Because if Vegas comes back and wins the Cup, it's Mitch Marner winning the Conn Smythe. Who wins it for Carolina? I think Stankoven, but also I know the writers vote on it. They would love a good narrative story to put Jordan Staal. Especially, like, if he keeps this up, he might have a good chance, but I would probably go Stankoven.
I'd probably go Stankoven or Blake or Hall, because I just think this is a playoff. It's not a Cup final MVP. Like, if it was the NBA, I'd say it's Jordan Staal, because the NBA, it's finals MVP. It's different.
Yeah, you have
because Jordan Staal is the finals MVP for Carolina. Don't get it in pussy, but I don't know, man. Like, you got two guys, but like at the same time, like fucking Kuznetsov was point a game and they gave it to Obi. Fucking, Kessel blew Crosby out of the water both years. They still gave it to Crosby.
Oh, so, love Crosby, but
narrative ball will always.
Dude, Patrick Kane in 2013 with Crawford. Should have been Crawford. Everyone knows.
You know what? Just give it to Ehlers so I can be mad. So either Conn Smythe winner's a guy that they said wasn't a winner. Why don't we just do that? Anyways,
you know what?
I'm getting ahead of myself. My final prediction. If my heart says Jackson Blake, my brain says Jordan Staal. And I don't like that. It was probably Freddie Anderson up until the Cup final, but that's just how it goes. That's how it goes.
That might be the most like awkward Conn Smythe. Like, well, I guess like Jaguar and McDavid get it, but like how weird would it be? Yeah, how weird would it be if you won and you didn't play any of the games? It's just like, here's the Conn Smythe. You're like, oh, okay, nice.
You know what? Mitch Marner, Conn Smythe, even if they lose.
You think that happens?
I don't know. Like, it might. Shoot, like
if Marner gets like 5 points this game and they lose, maybe.
I mean, if Marner's got 10 more points than the next closest guy, like I think. I don't know. You're right. It's going to be narrative ball. It's Jordan Staal, but I just think it has to. Like, I agree with you. It's Stankoven or Blake. Like, I think it's one of those two, just because they have been the play drivers on this team from the start of the playoffs. Like, the amount of times I've seen Stankoven just say, "Fuck it, I'm going to go 1-on-4, and I'm going to get my way," just because that's what I do. Like, if there's ever a goal to summarize Logan Stankoven, it's that freaking goal against on Rasmus Anderson.
That got everything going.
Literally.
Also, I think they're like 10-0 when he scores or something like that.
Good player. And you got him locked up for 7 more years. And let's be
at like
honest, I don't think he's even
6.25.
tapped into his offensive potential yet. Like, it's just that could be a guy who's like a 60, 70 point player, bang in, year out. Like, he's like 5'8" Patrick Sharp at times, it feels like. It's just,
If he could keep pace, like gradually get better, there's gonna be a guy who's an Olympian.
Yeah.
For Canada.
Someone brought it up. I was listening to some radio show. They brought it up, and it was just like, I don't know, in 4 years, they'll get it's narrative ball again. They'll just give it to 42-year-old Crosby. Or 44-year-old Crosby, however old he'd be when the Olympics happen. But yeah,
No,
Stankoven could definitely be a dark horse. I agree with that. Like,
I mean,
who's to say he doesn't fill the Seth Jarvis role in 4 years?
I mean, they could have conceivably have three guys. They could have Jarvis, Stankoven. They could also have Jackson Blake again if they keep it. I'm looking at their puck PD right now. They have Seth Jarvis locked up to 2032, 7.42. It's even better than what I thought it was. So Stankoven's contract is $6 million until 2034. And then Jackson Blake is making 5.1 until 2034. Just unreal. And then Kendra Miller's making 7.5 to 2033. That's like top pairing guy. And Jake Slavin still at 6.3 is still great contract till 2033. So they got all their guys locked up that they need, and their cap ledger is completely clean. Like they have no buyouts, retention. Just incredible management by Eric Tulsky. But I do wonder if Kotkaniemi gets spot out this summer. But that's I don't think they're worried
like
about
$800K over 5 years. Like, I would buy him.
Yeah, because I think.
But who knows? Maybe Vancouver takes
25. Or when they get Patterson, like that's not good enough. Let's get him better. Maybe Dylan Larkin will add Carolina to his trade list.
He'd be stupid not to. But that's a whole other point. Like,
one more thing. Could Taylor Hall win the Conn Smythe again for narrative purposes? Hey, this guy got a Hart Conn Smythe. Could he make the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
I really would not like to go to bed at night knowing we traded a Conn Smythe Trophy winner. I'd really like, and he was the cuck share in a trade. Like, I really don't want to sleep on that. So no, but it's possible. Like, he's been one of their best players in the Cup final easily. The whole playoff, but like the Cup final, he's definitely one of the more noticeable players. Like, he's taking a dumb penalty here or there, but
who hasn't among us?
If the guy had some fucking hands on a breakaway, he'd probably have like 7 goals because he just gets a breakaway every period, it feels like. And that's what happens when he's healthy. Like, that's always been what Taylor Hall is. He uses his speed. He's a great offensive winger. He just was never healthy with the Hawks. And then, like, I remember an article came out where it was just like, I feel better than ever at Carolina. It's like, no shit. You were recovering from an ACL tear half the time in Chicago. Like, whatever. It's fine. If he wins, I'd be happy for him, but I'm not going to sleep well at night knowing that.
Yeah, not even the Conn Smythe winner. We would have predicted all that trade when Mikko Rantanen was being traded. Maybe when Logan Stankoven could get one. That's crazy. We can twist the knife on the Hawks later. Do you want to finally transition to what the hell is happening with the Oilers right now and how there's a scenario where it could work out well for them? But do you want to start with the Babcock stuff first or Darnell Nurse stuff?
Babcock. We have to.
Yeah, it's definitely the more interesting one. And whenever Mike Babcock gets brought up, it's always, he holds his players accountable. And then I'll see people come and be like, why can't people like handle Mike Babcock? And there are such thing as hard-ass coaches. We're literally watching it with John Tortorella in Vegas right now. Like, say what you will about him. Maybe he can be a little bit of a dick sometimes, but he's not an emotionally abusive person. Mike Babcock has, and to anyone be like, oh, these players are too soft and can't handle people like that. How about you ask that to Johan Franzen, who is called the mule, who is like has gotten PTSD from having to deal with how much of a manipulative, narcissistic asshole Mike Babcock is. Go ask Chris Chelios, one of the greatest defensemen of all time. I think he was scratched during the winter. No, I think I read he played the Winter Classic game, but he only played one shift after Babcock told him he was going to scratch him. And then he scratched Mike Modano for his 1500th game. You can go on and on. There's the Mitch Marner. Yeah, there's the Mitch Marner stuff. And whenever we talk about those people that have kind of been exiled from the NHL for a few years, because inevitably they always come back, when Quenman and Bowman, Boville, when Quenville and Bowman were reinstated back into the NHL in 2024, I'm like, I totally get why someone would go out and sign Joel Quenville because he is on the Mount Rushmore of NHL coaches all time. Everywhere he goes, he wins. Even with the Florida Panthers before he came to Anaheim, and obviously the Blackhawks, and I think he had some pretty good Avalanche and Blues teams in the past. I totally get why someone would hire Joel Gwenville and take the chance on him, just like Anaheim did. I never got Stan Bowman because he just tore this franchise apart limb by limb. Yeah. And Mike Babcock is the same thing. To anyone that's like, oh yeah, he might be a little bit of a dick, manipulative asshole off the ice. Like what okay, let's put that aside. What good has he done like on the ice for his teams? The only good thing I can think of is that 15-16. Yeah, what's up?
The last playoff series his Jackoff has won was 2013.
2013. Yeah.
I was in high school in 2013. You know how long ago that was? You know who was still in the fucking league in that at that point in time? Timo Solani. Like, what are we doing right now?
They beat that team, funny enough. I think I'm pretty sure that's what
I think the most damning part of all this, Piers, is the top guys signed off on it. McDavid and Draisaitl apparently are okay with this.
That's what I wanted to get into. As much as I hate Bowman, I don't think he has much to do in this because they had a power struggle, him and Quenville. Why would you, unless you have some kind of sick fetish, why would you want to go through this again with someone who is even worse and like more?
He doesn't have a say because he's a lapdog and he knows he won't get another job in this league.
No. Yeah, exactly.
It's pathetic.
It's pathetic. And I don't think it's any coincidence either that the Hamilton Bulldogs, who are partly owned by Zach Hyman, I forget like what percentage, I know he has some kind of stake in it. They hired his son, Michael Babcock. Again, how narcissistic do you got to be to name your kid after you? And now Zach Hyman, who apparently has spoken pretty glowingly about Mike Babcock, he's being in consideration for the job. And the only thing that's stopping them is the NHLPA might intervene and do their job and say, no, we're not hiring this guy, because on top of like him wanting to go through all the players' phones in Columbus, I think there is some other stuff that happened that hasn't been like brought up or identified what it was.
They never finished their investigation.
No.
They never did. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just ridiculous. I'm the amount of times, like, what is this? McDavid's like sixth coach, right?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's not great. I'm trying to
think.
Like
Todd McLellan was a coach of this guy once upon a time. You know how long ago that was? It's like 5 fucking coaches ago.
Do you also know another coach? Ken Hitchcock coached that team, I think, for a year. I think it was McLellan, Hitchcock, Tippett, Woodcroft, Knobloch. So yeah, this is his sixth coach.
Dude, this is terrible. Like, and
it's like the Nugent's 10th coach or something.
At some point, you just can't feel bad. Like,
no,
I don't feel bad for this guy. There's a reason he signed a 2-year deal. Like, he'll walk in 2 years, and that's fine. But if that Bob Stouffer shit is actually true, and he wants to sign a 7-year deal still, I can't help you.
Again, you got some kind of fetish. Like, that's Stockholm syndrome at best.
No, it's NHL players being unforgivably loyal to their franchise. It's a number 1 pick thing, I feel like. I swear to God, that's what it is. You get picked number 1 in the NHL, the whole thing is you're going to win a cup with that team.
Yeah,
and I just think that mentality is stuck in his head right now because Crosby did it, because Gretz did it, because all these players did it. Ovi did it. McKinnon did it. Kucherov did it. Eichel didn't do it. Maybe that should be the fucking red flag. Kachuk didn't do it. Maybe that should be an even bigger red flag. Matthews is going to do it pretty soon. That should probably be an even bigger red flag. But who knows? Maybe they're both planning to go to, like, Florida, and we'll all just kill ourselves. I don't know.
The cup will stay in the South Confederacy in the NHL.
Dude, the whole point is just like, I can't even blame Bowman for this. Because he's a lapdog.
I don't think
it's
he
not
has a
him.
hand in it.
It's Cates. It's all those guys in the front office.
And the big guys on the roster.
You saw. Like, I have a really hard time having sympathy for this situation. And if they actually go through with hiring Babcock, I'd request, like, listen, everyone gives Darnell their shit. We'll get into that in a little bit. I don't think it's a coincidence he requested a trade within days of Babcock being in the coaching negotiations. Like, he has never requested a trade all the times Edmonton's asked him to. This time he came forward and said, yeah, let's do it this time. I don't think there's a coincidence there. And like, I think, I don't know if it was my Commodore, but someone put it best. They just said, the star players are going to be fine on Edmonton. Connor and Leon are going to be just fine.
And the other
the Yanmarks. It's the fucking Howards. It's the Savoys. It's all these motherfuckers who are just going to get put into the grinder that is this archaic head coach in his ways. Like, let's just call it what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. It's archaic styling of coaching. There's a reason. You want to know why Joe Quenneville's still good and why he got hired again? Because he adapted. He fucking adapted over the last 20 years. Like, go look at what he was doing in Colorado and St. Louis. It's night and day to what he did in Chicago, and it's night and day to what he did in Florida, and it's night and day to what he's doing in Anaheim. Same principles, but he's had to change it up every single time. Babcock has not done that anywhere. Anywhere. This is a guy who was afraid to play Matthews 20 minutes a night, which maybe he was right because, like, it hasn't worked for the Leafs, but, like, I'm going to lose my shit if this guy gets hired and McDavid's playing 18 minutes a night. Because that's the reality that's staring the Oilers in the face, and they're the last team that needs to be taking their star off the ice. It's concerning, man. It's so concerning, and, like, I just don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how you fix this. I don't, like, you just better pray to God someone takes Darnell Nurse, like, with, like, maybe less than $2 million retention. If you're lucky.
I think I have a feeling there's going to be a team that takes him on, like, fully with no, like, not even like, oh, we have to give they have to attach a second round pick with it or whatever. Like, I think
it'll be a bad contract trade. Like, I know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to piss me off. Ugh, it's going to be stupid. They're going to get out of that contract. It's going to be, like you said, it's going to be him for Ryan Graves or some bullshit like that. And Darnell Nurse is going to have 50-point season on the Penguins because Crosby's going to have chemistry with him.
And I was about to say Kyle Davidson. Kyle Dubas loves his guys, and guess where he played in his draft year?
Kyle Davidson doesn't have guys to love. Anyways, yes, you're right. But and Dubas fleecing Bowman again.
Oh my God, that's right.
Just wait till he trades up for Chase Reed. But
damn, it's gonna be a 3-way trade. We're gonna get Pittsburgh's gonna trade us for turnover for fourth.
I hate this reality. Anyways, I hate this reality with the Hawks.
Why don't I go throw all my utensils in the microwave and kill my whole family?
Now we're getting somewhere.
Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with grease.
But I just don't know how you fix a lot of this. I really don't.
On the topic of a guy who socially does that, throws utensils in the microwave and has his house explode. Yeah. I don't know why that popped in my head, but yeah. No, I don't know how Babcock makes this team better. I don't. Maybe he does a little bit, but I'd almost just rather take a big swing. And like, I've seen the Leafs are interviewing Joe Pavelski, which is just so interesting. Like, they should be going for an out of the box hire, but the thing about the Oilers is they are maybe the definition of boys club. Their owner's always going to have the hand in the cookie jar, the Daryl Katz. He's always going to have more of a say in it than probably management or anyone else wants to. But yeah, I think Daryl Katz just went to the big players and asked, hey, who do you guys want as your coach? And the top guys just said, hey, let's give Mike Babcock a chance so he can keep us accountable, because apparently, you got to be like mentally abusive and narcissistic and just a horrible person and asshole to do so.
No, but you also have to remember that we only can hire like 36 coaches. So there's also that.
Yeah, if that, it's probably more like 33.
Like, gotta go back to the well. I guess it's Craig Berube it is, champ. Like, you can't tell me these are the only options. Like, at this point, I'm just surprised Gerard Gallant hasn't gotten another chance. He must have really fucking sucked.
We gotta bring him back from China, the Nihao Dragons, or wherever he's going.
You know what? Just bring back Mike
Shanghai. He's still around, isn't he? Is he coaching? I think so. Let's look that up.
Probably. He's probably in Russia somewhere.
Dude, he's 76. He's not coaching anymore. He actually stopped coaching in 2017. You know what? Bring it up. Bring him
Come
out of
back,
retirement.
Coach McDave. That's what they need. Honestly, that's what the Oilers need is Mike Keenan. That's a whole other point.
Yeah, they can win a cup like he did with the '94 Rangers, or bring him a cup final like he did with the '92 Blackhawks. Yeah. Anyways, what else is there to say on Babcock? Because we can go back to 2013 when we talked about this, like why this cannot work. When he was being
the
hired
on
with
ice speaks
Columbus.
for itself. I think the off ice damn well speaks for itself. And let's be honest, this investigation might go through and he might not even get the fucking job. So it's just like, I think it just speaks volumes to how clueless Edmonton is right now at the top. I think it shows to how complacent the Stars are right now. And it's going to get bleak here in about a year, maybe less if it goes south early, because like
if they get off to a bad start, like can't do what you did a few years ago and win like what was it, 15 in a row. No, you don't get that benefit of the doubt anymore.
Yeah, they're not. It's bleak. It's bleak.
And if it is the players that are advocating for this, you deserve all of this. I've always wanted to see McDavid and Draisaitl, all the big guys win a cup in Edmonton. But yeah, at this point, when the inmates are running the asylum, then yeah, I think you've how do you come back from this if you're the Oilers? I think the first mode of business is you try to hire Darnell Nurse and and maybe in the moment people in the organization will be mad that you didn't get Mike Babcock, but maybe that'll lead them to a better coach. I mean, it would be hard not to. Yeah, do you have anything else more on Babcock, or do you want to move on to Darnell Nurse?
I'd rather not waste any more time on him until he gets potentially hired. Because, like I said, the problem is he might not get it. So, fuck him. I have no problem saying that either. Like, just ultimate piece of shit. Should stay away from my sport forever. But let's get to a more fun topic, because I actually do want to talk about Darnell Nurse, because I think this is very intriguing that he wants out finally. So for those listening that might not know, Darnell Nurse has officially requested a trade from the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's funny
about it.
I do think it's funny that he requested as soon as his no move's about to go away. You know, it's just like, I just want a little bit more control on the way out before that 10 team kicks in. So I think you give him like 3 to 5 teams. I know they've mentioned LA and Pittsburgh, which like LOL to both, but like
Philadelphia, I saw too.
Yeah, I know Philly was like the first name we heard before he even requested the trade. I know they said he's probably going to go out east. I feel like it screams
and not Canada, so not Toronto for Riley.
We've talked about this before, though. It's just like there's a trade out there where this works out well for some team. I will continue to say that. Like, I have been the fact that I am the only Darnell Nurse defendant on earth, just because I could tell that this guy, like, I text it to you at least once a week. If this guy made $7 million, no one would give a shit. But he makes 9.5, and that's the reality of the situation, and it's fine. But the thing is, someone's going to pick him up at $7 million, and we saw it with Seth Jones. Seth Jones at $7 million is a lot different than Seth Jones at 9.5. It's a lot more palatable, and I just like, as much as I LA just makes so much sense.
Dude,
and I don't know if they're
signed him to that extension.
But like, they have no one on the left side that is even worth a while. Like, Mikey Anderson's good, but like,
I don't think they would
I
trade
don't
for
know.
Nurse.
What?
I said I don't think they would trade Mikey Anderson.
Isn't he one of the teams?
Darnell Nurse. I mean, like they won't. The Kings won't trade Mikey Anderson for Darnell Nurse. Like,
no, I wasn't saying trade Mikey Anderson.
Yeah.
I was saying Mikey Anderson was the best defenseman on the left side, which is why Darnell Nurse makes sense. Because besides that, it's Dumoulin and Edmondson. I think they could do like Darnell Nurse is better than both of those guys.
Okay.
And I think if you look at your top four, and your top four is Mikey Anderson, Drew Doughty, Darnell Nurse, Brant Clark, I think you could do a lot worse if you're LA.
You can do a lot worse than that.
On paper, when Kevin Fiala comes back, LA is going to look pretty good if they can find a center. So it's just like, if they can make that move, I think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for Philly. like as much as they need another left shot, like the money doesn't make sense in my opinion, especially because you just paid Cam York. Like unless Cam York's going the other way, which I think would be a very big mistake.
Ooh. Yeah, I know.
Because like it's not Sanheim going the other way, right? And it's not Emil Andre, I don't think. And that's the thing. I don't think there's a fit there. I think there's a fit in Pittsburgh. I think you could flip a bad contract there, maybe.
It's probably
like,
Graves.
Yeah, like you said earlier.
The most logical one.
But I don't know, man. LA's sitting there staring me in the face, and I'm like, for the memes, Nurse CC reunited would just be an all-timer. Like, you know, the amount of like we talk about teams in the cuck chair. If LA takes Nurse and CC, that's priceless. But I do think there's a world where Nurse goes to LA and does well. So do you play with that fire? Because if you're LA, you've done this before. You did this with Pierre-Luc Dubois, in a sense. That was a little different because that wasn't a cap dump, but it turned into a cap dump because it was so bad. So you know how this could burn you. I don't know, man. Darnell Nurse is going to be so interesting to see where he ends up because he's going to get moved before July 1st because then his 10-team no trade kicks in and then Edmonton gets a little more control on what's going to happen there. We've seen this time and time again. He's going to get moved to the draft. It's just a matter of what team it is. And I don't know, man. LA just makes like almost too much sense. I just don't know what that package looks like. It's probably Edmonton and like or Dumoulin in a pick or something.
Edmonton,
or maybe it's like
Oilers.
Shit. Like imagine you can like somehow steal Turcotte off that. That'd be because like you got to think.
Bowman finally that, like, gets his guy.
But shut the fuck up. But I didn't even think about that. But like you just got to think of like players that like maybe are falling out of love in their top 9, or hell, let's go even crazier. Go get a guy like Trevor Moore for him. Fuck it. Like go get a speedy winger that can help your middle 6. Like
Moore
I just
with
think
McDavid.
I think you be creative with the Kings. And yeah, you're probably going to give some draft capital, and yeah, you're probably going to have to retain, but the Kings are going to get you the best package in return because it's in division. So that's my thought process. I wanted to give my little spiel on Nurse because I do think it's a lot more interesting than people are making it out to be. Because lol memes, he's not worth 9.5. We fucking get it. I did it with Seth Jones for 4 fucking years. It looks a lot different once that salary is retained. That's all I'm going to say. I haven't heard a peep out of Florida since Seth Jones has gotten there. You want to know why? Because he makes $7 million and he plays the most 5-on-5 ice time on the team. Like, it's just, sometimes you can just find a right fit somewhere. So I don't know. The Nurse thing's super intriguing.
Yeah. I don't think the Hawks will get him, and I don't even know if the Hawks are on his list, but if it's under $7 million, like if they retain 2.5 and you get him to 6.75 or whatever.
I do it.
Because where else are you gonna find a defenseman like Darnell Nurse? And I know the offensive stats hasn't been there, but this is a guy who could score 10 goals. Like you need any kind of offense from the back end right now. And I think Jay Fresh said it. Like looking at the player card, like it's not great, obviously. Like I think he's at a 40% projected WAR, but like I was expecting like just all red, like single digits. Like no. And again, especially with the cap going up, if worst you can do is 7 million, that's what you get them down to. I think you do it. And yeah, in the case of the Blackhawks and another thing that Jay Fresh said was he got caved in the playoffs, funny enough, with Cody Ceci, but it's one of those things, especially in the Hawks case, is like you need a guy who can play 82 games and 8 minutes. Maybe they're not the best minutes, but like that's a guy who's going to throw his body around. And again, maybe if things are going well, you can get 10 goals out of them because you just need any kind of offense from the back end. But yeah, inevitably, I don't think any trade between the Hawks and Oilers involving Nurse would work out. And if they did, like, what are you giving up? Are you just like throwing them a mid-round pick? Yeah, that could work. Del Mastro.
I think he's the odd man out right now. So
especially if they trade for another left-handed defenseman. So yeah, I was gonna say Korchinski, but no, no. Unless like you get them to retain half or something. I don't know.
And I look at it with Nurse, like, yeah, like I'd love to see it work out if he could pair with Levshunov, but they probably won't gel. Like I look at like if you put him with Crevier, dude, and then you could find a way to get Vlasic and Rinzel to work again, and then it's Kaiser Levshunov as your third pair. Like that is a very south. Like if your top 4 is Nurse and Crevier and Vlasic and Rinzel, because I think Rinzel is just a little more structured 5-on-5 right now. You could do worse. you could do worse. And that's the point I keep making about the Hawks. Like if they just get a second pairing left-handed defenseman, this team looks a little bit different on the back end.
Not my first choice, but certainly not my last choice.
I just think it's a creative choice, just in terms of like what you would have to give up. Because like shit, like let's look at Duncan Keith, for instance. Like what did we get? Like Caleb Jones in a third? Like that's the kind of trade it's gonna be at the end of the day. People don't realize that. Like that's literally what it's gonna be. And it could be Del Mastro in like the Tampa third for us, or I don't know, like maybe we give them Toronto's second at the draft. I don't know, something like that, or give them their own second back in 28. I don't give a shit, which would be even funnier. But I don't know. Like I don't think it's going to be a straight cap dump to any team, and I don't think he has negative value, but he doesn't have like you're like. For any Oiler fan thinking you're getting Colin Graff in a trade, just fucking put it like blow it out your ass. That is not happening, unfortunately. But if you get $7 million off the books in Edmonton for another 4 years, that's a lot of ammo.
But also you got to upgrade your defense, so you would have to. Well, ideally in the trade, you get maybe like a third.
You get you get a defenseman back, hopefully, and then you get a draft pick to go maybe get someone. Like, there's going to be names out there. Like the name everyone talks about, and I agree, is Michael Kesselring. Like Michael Kesselring's going to be a name.
They drafted him. They drafted John Moreno too. Like those guys did not sign. They were late round draft picks, and that would have made up their whole right side.
Holy shit. Yeah, best right-hander decents. Not Evan Bouchard, just kidding. Evan Bouchard's really good. But yeah, they're gonna have to have some answers on that back end if they trade Nurse. So I'm curious. I do think it happens before July 1st, though. I do.
And yeah, I think the Oilers are gonna be a team. Like again, we'll say what we will about Bowman, but that's not a guy who sits on his hands. The Oilers are gonna make some moves this summer.
I think that's why we get so frustrated with Davidson, because we've been beaten into shape.
We're getting the exact opposite.
Yeah, we're getting beaten into shape by this guy who can't fucking sit on his hands for more than 2 seconds.
Like we're like
traded Trevor Daley after 40 fucking games. Like come on.
We are on the second part of Goldilocks. So when can we get our third part when everything is just right?
When we get Steve Yzerman.
When I'm in a sitting in my hand competition, and my opponents are Steve Yzerman and Kyle Davidson. Like those are two of the guys. Those are the guys with the two most job security. And again, every time, like, I guess we could also transition more into the Larkin saga. Like when we recorded that podcast last week talking about it, I saw so much of the Blackhawks in it that I was like, I'm taking Dylan Larkin's side the whole way with this without really thinking much on the Yzerman angle other than, oh, he's got like, this is his fault. He hasn't built good enough teams. Yeah, it's no wonder why their best center asked for a trade out, but also like Steve Yzerman is not going anywhere, and he is going to let this ride out. And I think he will get nasty with Dylan Larkin and have this play into camp and potentially beyond that. And Dylan Larkin might not get paid. It's funny. I think Dangle, originally brought up on their podcast how Dylan Larkin is very similar to what Matt Duchene is in terms of, yeah, he could be a 1C on most teams and do a good enough job, but ideally he is your 2C on a Stanley Cup contender. And I think that's where Dylan Larkin is, and I think that's how you see him too. And the second part is how the Colorado Avalanche handled them trading Matt Duchene and how that turned their franchise around after things weren't going well. Like they had a horrible 16-17 season, which is why Duchene requested a trade anyways. And like Joe Sakic let this play out, and Matt Duchene, he went to camp. You remember that picture he took where he just looked so miserable? And eventually, I think it was a month into the season, they not only traded with one team, they traded with two teams. It was a three-way trade team. I think Ottawa traded Turst to Nashville, and then Nashville traded Girard to Colorado. So like Colorado got Girard. Who else am I missing?
You got Girard, Bowers, the first, Kamanov, and a second.
Yes, yeah, and I think that first turned into Bowen Byram from Ottawa, and then Ottawa got Matt Duchene, and the Nashville Predators got Kyle Turris, and then funny enough, Duchene ended up in Nashville anyways after.
And they both got bought out. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. No, Nashville offense doesn't go to die there. uh,
Oh,
but similar thing, you got two legends as your GMs holding out and trying to get a lot of value for your not your franchise player, but a player that's been there for a while. And I know Matt Duchene idolized Joe Sakic. I would guess still Larkin did too, growing up in Michigan and probably watching the Red Wings win the cups in the late '90s and early 2000s. But yeah, I think Steve Yzerman is gonna ride this out and potentially into the season if he needs to, if he doesn't get the value that he wants to find. And man, I'm having trouble remembering all the stuff I need to say, but oh god, I can't even remember. I want to
I
bring up another point about it, but
well, while you're thinking of that, I do want to add, like, Larkin's already extended his trade list. Like, Eisman
that's what I
already
wanted
told
to say.
him. Eisman already told him, "Fuck you. We're not trading you to Minnesota, Florida, or Vegas. Extend that shit." And I think it's like Tampa, Dallas, the Islanders, and the Ducks. Like, those are the names I'm hearing. And I think that if we're talking pure value, the Ducks make the most sense here. Like, you could get McTavish and Zellweger out of this.
That's what I thought of from the start. That's probably the kind of deal you got to make.
Yeah, like that's the deal you have to make, and you have to bet on McTavish. Like that, you have McTavish at 5 years at $7 million. You lock up Zellweger, then you got another left-handed D on that side. That's a puck mover. Like if your top four is Edvinsson, Sider, Zellweger, Sandin Pellikka, or some iteration of that, could be worse. Could be worse. And you got a center. Like, yeah, McTavish probably isn't like the upside of a 70-point guy, but he might be like a 50, 60-point guy if you put him with DeBrincat. Like, we've seen what DeBrincat can do with a center that can, play above his means, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I think in terms of pure value, that's where you're going to get it, because I know they're looking for like a roster player and a first for McTavish. I think Larkin changes that a little bit. But I just don't see a fit in a lot of these other teams. Like maybe if they wait it out, it's Jason Robertson, but that doesn't fix any problem for them.
No.
And it's just like the Islanders, I don't think there's a package there unless it's Barzell, and that makes no sense for either team, if I'm being honest.
No.
Sorelli makes sense for the Lightning, but it really doesn't. Like that doesn't make sense either, in my opinion. Like I just think for what Detroit is going to need, I forgot one more team. The two teams I keep thinking of Utah and Anaheim. Yes, because if you do a Kosa and Larkin trade to Utah, you can get Denoye, and if you get Denoye, and like I think I mentioned it to you, like imagine the trades Denoye and Peterka for Larkin and fucking Kosa. Like I think Detroit's so happy coming out of that trade, and you stay competitive. You get two players who are definitely going to be on your roster. Yeah, you're betting on three centers with low ceilings, but that's not the point. One of them has to at least break through and be a 60-point guy, or you're the Kraken, but that's not the point. They're really cracking East right now. It's crazy. But they're cracking
East. We're texting. You remember when we were texting each other the other day? I can't quite remember, but I brought up how I think it was like Pierre Dorian could go be the GM of the Seattle Kraken, and not even like 5 minutes later, the Seattle Kraken have hired Patrick Alvina, I think, as an assistant GM. I'm like, holy shit!
Adjacent move, basically. Good lord.
Yeah.
But you got to get creative if you're Yzerman. We know he will. I would like to point out all the people making comparisons to Jonathan Drouin. This is a completely fucking different scenario.
No.
Like, Jonathan Drouin was a punk 21-year-old kid that wanted ice time on a team that was pushing for a cup. Like, that's just the reality of the situation.
And he eventually got it.
Yeah,
and then
cool.
Yzerman
He didn't win a cup for it. So,
yeah.
And guess you and everyone's like, he turned it into Mikhail Sergachev. Cool, man. Drouin had no trade protection. He was 21 years old, and he was a top 3 pick. He had all the value in the world. Larkin is 30. He has 5 years left on his deal. Granted, he's a money in the bank 30, 35 guy, in my opinion, when he's healthy.
Yep.
Maybe 30, 40. It's not the same. And he's got a no trade. Like, it's just not the same. It's not the same. And I keep, like, I tell you all the time, like, I joke at work. I doom scroll on Puckpedia sometimes, and I'll just, like, I'll look at some of these my GMs for the Red Wings, and it's so far in either direction that it's wrong. It's either Larkin's getting valued like he's Macklin Celebrini, or he's getting valued like he's a fucking third liner. Like there's a balance here, but I will bring it up once and I will bring it up again. How many times have I mentioned the top prospect does not get traded ever in a trade like this? Like I think it.
When does it happen in sports? Like in baseball,
like
it almost never happens.
That's why, like, I know he's not on their list, but it blows my mind Boston's not trying to get in on this. I know it's in division; it'd be hard, but it's just like,
dude, Florida made an offer. Who cares? Like, if I'm Boston, I'm knocking down the door.
Listen, if you want the best package, Florida is the move. You do fucking Larkin and Kosa for Lundell and 9, straight up. Call it a day. Yeah, Larkin's in division for 5 more years, but you got Lundell at $5 million, who could easily break out to be a 60-point guy. And then you're getting a top 10 pick that could easily be either Vigil Bjork or a great defenseman for your system. Or Tynan Lawrence. Fuck it. Just go get another middle 6 center for your team. I don't fucking know. Whatever you want to do with that pick. That's the point, though. Because you don't have a pick because you traded it for Justin Falk.
That was a big move.
And, like, from what I keep hearing, everyone says Yzerman's going to get this shit done before July 1st. Like, that's just all I keep hearing, is that they want to get this done sooner than later. I don't think Yzerman wants us to drag out, nor does Larkin, because I think if it does drag out, you have to strip him of the captaincy. So it's just like, you got to get the ball moving on this.
That's what I mean. Like, logically, that's what you need to do. And, but also, like, I see Steve Yzerman as a person who would want to drag it out. But then again, like,
he didn't drag out Marty St. Louis. He didn't drag out Drouin. That's all.
That's what I wanted to bring up earlier. That's another thing that's happened with Steve Yzerman, because Steve Yzerman snubbed him for the Olympic team, and apparently that was enough to be like, yeah, I'm leaving Tampa Bay after I've been here for 15 years he was, and I'm going to the Rangers now.
And good on him. He got Ryan Callahan, who was a top 6 forward on the Lightning for a half a decade. Like, he literally came out of that with something. And Ryan Callahan was a pivotal part in those teams making those deep playoff runs prior to them winning the Cups, which is unfortunate. But I think leadership-wise,
a great goal against Crawford in Game 3 of
all-timer sniping Game 3. Holy shit!
Also, that Kaloran goal was amazing too. Like
it was a series of insane Tampa Bay Lightning goals. Like they really did score some bangers that series.
Hey, we had some insane goals too. Ben Bishop being knocked out by Victor Hedman.
It's my favorite goal I've ever seen, and that's more than the Ovechkin scoring on his back, just because of the stakes.
The stakes were higher.
Yeah, they were medium rare. But yeah, I think Larkin, like, this is gonna get done at the draft or beforehand. Like I keep thinking, like, as soon as this Cup final ends, the dam is gonna break on some of these moves. I think, especially for Vegas, because Vegas with coaching is gonna have to make a move. And let's be honest, if they want to get in on Larkin, Steve Dangle said it best. Like, they are not gonna be afraid to just throw Mark Stone in the garbage first chance they get. And they're not going to be afraid to do it with Hurdle. And it sounds like they're not going to do it with Anderson, but they'll damn sure do it with Lazon. So, and they might do it with Hill. Like, they might just do it with fucking Hill too. Now who takes Aiden Hill, I don't know. But that's a whole other thing. You might need a goalie. Too if you're Vegas. Maybe they just trade for Hellebuck and piss everyone off. That's just great.
Yeah, Florida and Vegas will just get all of the trades.
I can't wait till it's fine. I could deal with this for like 3 more years because all of them are in their 30s. Like, it's just like
eventually the Bills
other time plays its course.
Yeah,
it always does. We talk about this. We talked about this with the Hawks. Talked about it with the Penguins. Talked about it with the Lightning, and now it's happening to the Panthers. Father Time always runs its fucking course on deep playoff runs. It's just the reality of the situation. So Vegas will get theirs. It's only a matter of time before they're doing what the Sharks did the last 5 years. It's the reality. It's a circle of life in hockey. Like, it's just how it goes.
What do you think of? I think I was reading a tweet. I forget who it was, but basically they said that Detroit is 4th on the list of teams that you want to play for. Like, essentially is what you're saying when you only give 3 teams you want to go to, which is Florida, Minnesota, and Vegas. And I mean, I don't blame Larkin at all. Those would where we want to be going, especially Florida and Vegas. Minnesota would definitely get the opportunity to be the 1 seed there, but
put him in Jesus Christ. He might be a 90-point guy if he do that. Like
Matt Boldy would be a 50-goal scorer, and Kaprizov might as well. I think they got there
It'd have
almost
two
got there
50
anyways.
it'd be a
Yeah.
50-50-40 line. No bullshit. 50-50-40. Crazy.
But I think Steve Yzerman might be prepared to be Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder, where he's like, "Go fuck yourself."
We don't negotiate.
We do not negotiate. That's such a good scene.
But he's got to be careful here because Alex DeBrincat's in the last year of his deal. You can't burn that bridge too.
They should and then give him back to us, please. Please. We do.
It's never happening. He's gone. He's dead. And you could blame the man in charge for that. But Kevin Korchinski and Paulo Lewinsky are great guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What else is there to say on Dylan Larkin?
Time will tell. If you had to be a betting man, where do you think he goes? Because right now I think it's Utah. I think Utah's going to find something to work there.
Utah's a good one. I think something gets done with Minnesota. I don't know. I think it just makes too much sense there. I think with Florida and Vegas, it's like you're just being greedy at that point. Like, does Florida and Vegas really need to get Dylan Larkin? Like, I just think if unless you're like Florida and getting Kosa back, do you want to trade Lundell, who is still making $5 million for the next, I think, 4 years or something like that? Like, he's on a very good contract and still very young. Do you want to trade off for Dylan Larkin? I don't know. I guess Vegas would make a little more sense because they don't have a young player like Anton Lundell, but also I think they would probably have to get rid of Trevor Connolly and maybe like Thomas Hertl or something. I don't know. I think Minnesota makes sense. Like, that's probably what's going to happen, but I think there's so many teams that aren't being mentioned. Like Anaheim, I think is a good one. Utah is also a good one. Like, I think you need to trade with a team that is younger and actually has young pieces you can get back.
Yeah, Boston makes sense too, I think. Like, there's just, and like we talked about this with Nurse, like the best trade in terms of return is probably in division, ironically, because they're going to have to pay more. That's why I keep coming back to Florida. Like, it's going to suck, but like, shit, if you get Lundell in a top 10 pick, it's a little easier to swallow. But if you give them their second line center and their starting goalie in division, that's why I say Utah makes more sense for me. But because
Utah, I could definitely see it.
But does he want to go there? That's the reality.
Yeah. We'll see who blinks first, but again, logically, I just think that it'd be best to get this done and not have it drag out in the summer and potentially into camp and in the season.
Yeah, there's no reason to drag this out.
It all comes down to this: a best-of-7 battle, and DraftKings has you covered every step of the way. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. Sweat every shift of the series, all in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers, sign up with code THPN, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN, in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, that text pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings Predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in Predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
What do you want to talk about Laviolette being hired by the Kings, or do you want to get into our draft boards here?
I want to hear your thoughts on Laviolette real quick, because I just think like it's a retread hire, but like for this team, it might work in my opinion. Also, Panarin can't escape the guy. Panarin just can't escape the guy.
No. Yeah, I pretty much agree. It's just such an uninspiring hiring. now that Peter Laviolette was brought back up again, another thing I forgot in this episode that I've wanted to talk about, like the Mike Babcock thing has been so bad for them now that I see Oilers fans being like, yeah, I want to get Daryl Sutter as the head coach, who I don't think is much better, but again, not on the level of Mike Babcock. So yeah, there's still teams that don't have their coaching figured out. Edmonton is on that list. Toronto still doesn't have a coach. Vegas right after, even if they come back and win, I think they're getting rid of Tortorella, so that's going to be another opening. I can't think of any other teams at the moment that are in need of head coaches, but I might be missing a team or two.
I think Toronto's the most interesting still, because I think they can go so many different directions with that head coach. And to know that one of the retreads is off for them is interesting. Because now I think they're Is Patrick Waugh the answer in Toronto? I know we're supposed to be talking about LA, but like
it leads into the coaching discussion.
Yeah.
Patrick Waugh in Toronto. I don't know. I look at that front office and I wonder if John Chayka could get along with Patrick Waugh, who seems maybe a little more old school. Like that's why I think they might
Patrick
go
Waugh
off
get
the
along with Matt Sundin. I think that matters.
Yeah, that is a good point. But I'm also thinking, like, do they want to get a guy who might be a little more on board with like what they want for lines? Because in the NHL, there are teams where the general managers like these are the lines, and we're giving to you. And this is what you're going to play. And if you stray away from them, then like we're going to have issues. Whereas I think some other teams are like that; they'd let the coach do whatever. Yeah, I think maybe they do want a newer coach, maybe like a Joe Pavelski, who might be a little more on board to what they want. So that's why I think Toronto is going to be an interesting team to watch for outside the box, and Edmonton's going to go with some kind of retread. And Vegas, what if like Vegas hired Jay Woodcroft? Like just swap all these head coaches in division, because Woodcroft was with Edmonton, now he's assistant as Anaheim. I think LA interviewed him. I also think Toronto did, but how funny would it be if he just ended up in Vegas?
It would be it wouldn't shock me though, because I feel like that's the kind of move that they would be. I don't know though. Like I just keep coming back to, I think they're going to re-sign Torts, man. Like I really do.
They might,
even if it's 1 year. I think they might give him a full year. And I think Torts would like that. I think Torts the kind of guy that would like a 1-year deal every year, like a Corey Perry style of coach. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Or maybe this is the new thing. We're just gonna have trade deadline, but for coaches. It's because your team sucked after the deadline. You can't make any moves, so this just becomes the new norm. But coaching is gonna be interesting because I think there's
like you know how you get that coach bump like early in the season after you get a new coach. What if we did it right before the playoffs and got that bump and rode it to a cup? Was Vegas's thinking,
right?
Or maybe close to one. I don't know if they're gonna win, but. But yeah, I think Toronto's gonna go outside the box. I think Edmonton's gonna be chalk, and Vegas might somewhere in between. I can't think of any other places that need a coach right now.
Yeah, besides that, I think everyone else is either filled up or it's like a wait. Well, like, yeah, actually, you're right. I think that's it. Because I was like, LA just got Laviolette, so there's the other one. But by the time November happens, we'll have 4 more firings, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Jeff Blashill will be like in the top 10 of longest tenure coaches because the turnover is just so crazy.
Nightmare.
Like Rod Brendamore's, I think, the 3rd longest tenure coach, and then it's Bednar in Colorado, and John Cooper in Tampa Bay.
And both of those guys are probably getting fired within 2 years too. So it's just like,
yeah, especially Cooper now that he got the Jack Adams curse.
It's a blessing and a curse. Also, I think it's hilarious that the Hart Trophy winner, Vezina Trophy winner, and Jack Adams winner are on the same team, and they couldn't win the division.
And they didn't even win around.
Yeah, just think that's very funny. But I digress. Ready to do a mock draft? I don't really have much to say about Laviolette besides he's a retread and Panarin can't escape him. And ironically, like if the Kings can ride that cup final loss tax that Laviolette tends to have, or conference final tax, I think they'll take it in a heartbeat post Kopitar. So,
and I forgot they don't have Corey Perry anymore, but like, yeah, if they had Corey Perry still, that'd be an automatic cup final loss.
They traded him like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah,
they could have had it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
no,
maybe
they had like
back in
20
free agency.
overtime losses instead.
Hey, it's in Vegas and they are in the cup final right now. Well, I was thinking I wanted to do the draft board, and then next podcast we do the mock draft, like how our
draft boards for draft board.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant draft board when I said that. Not mock
Yeah.
draft. Sorry.
No, you're all
Our
good.
rankings. My apologies.
Our rankings, our personal board. I guess this is just basically like, yeah, it's just who we would prefer at each spot, like who I guess, or if we're in the case of the Hawks, who we would want to drop to number 4, the like who we want to pick at number 4 the most. Obviously, there's the top guys. I don't know who you have first. McKenna and Stenberg are so close to me. Like, I'd want to put Stenberg first, but I'm like, when two players are so close, I think McKenna just has more upside. So I put him number 1 for now ahead of Stenberg. But I see Stenberg being maybe more of a complete, like, higher floor, but maybe not as high as a ceiling as McKenna. So I'll put McKenna first just because of high ceiling. But yeah, I think Stenberg's gonna be maybe a better like 5-on-5 player, maybe wins more puck battles along the boards kind of thing, maybe not getting as much points as McKenna, but McKenna is going to be that dynamic over point per game winger, and he's going to be great on the power play. So yeah, I'll put McKenna first and Stenberg second. What order do you have those two in? Because I assume you have them at the top of the class and not any defenseman.
No. So Keaton Verhoff number 1. Just kidding.
And Carson Carroll's number 1. You're gonna draft them together.
But I got Stenberg at 1. I've had Stenberg at 1 all year, and I will die on that hill. I know he doesn't have the flashiness, he doesn't have the vision that a Gavin McKenna has on the power play, but I just look at the players you're gonna want come playoff time. And like we've heard it from Will Scouch, and ever since he said it, and I watch his tape, I can't unsee it. This guy's a left-handed Seth Jarvis, and I think 32 teams out of 32 could use that. Gavin McKenna has the potential to be Patrick Kane or Nikita Kucherov. We'll see if his work ethic will let him get there, which I think it will. Like, he's playing with Austin Matthews. Like, it's probably going to be the easiest job in the world for him. But I just,
in your step.
For what I would want out of a winger, Ivar Stenberg is a guy that can play anywhere in your lineup. He's going to be either top line, second line, top power play, put him in the left circle, put him in the right circle, put him in the bumper, put him wherever you want. And when the going gets tough, the guy shows up. And I am such a firm believer in a strong SHL season. I've been that way since the Leo Carlson draft. You know this. This podcast knows this. I've been high on the SHL for almost 4 years now. And it's not the statistics he's putting up have not been done since the Sedins and like Marcus Naslund. Like, it has been legitimately 25 years since someone has had this point production as an 18-year-old in the SHL. And I think people just sleep on it because it's the SHL.
There's been some great players to be drafted out of Sweden. Like, you brought up Leo Carlson, Nick Backstrom, like
William Nylander, Lucas Raymond.
I think was playing in Sweden. Yeah.
No, you could name probably half dozen guys that have done amazing in that league in their draft year, but none of them have had the season that Ivar Stenberg had. Like, I made the point with Frondell for so long. It was just like, the season Frondell's having is equivalent to a lot of these guys, and Ivar was better than him on a team to where, granted, I think he got iced a little better, but at the same time, he had to fight for his minutes on a team full of men. And every time he was put on an international stage, he produced. And I do think that matters, especially when you're playing against different levels of competition. So he's my first, and McKenna's like a 1B. Like, I want to make that clear.
That's what I mean. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, it's a 1A, 1B.
It's a stylistic choice. It's what I prefer in a player. And that's coming from someone. Sorry, I was just going to say that's coming from someone who had the privilege of watching what Gavin McKenna could be for 15 years and Patrick Kane. Like, I know what he can be. There's just so much that had to be right for Kane to be what he was. Like, Kane couldn't have had a more perfect situation for the way he played. He had so many great two-way forwards on that team that could help him out at any chance given. And he had a coach that knew how to use him. I don't know if McKenna's going to get the same thing. Like everyone says the Jack Hughes trajectory. I totally see that. Because I think it's going to be one of those situations where they're going to put him in all these situations off rip, and he's not going to be ready for it. I don't think he's going to be physically mature enough for it. He will be.
No, he's not gonna be. He's not gonna be Schaefer celebrating Bedard.
If he is, I'll eat my fucking words. Like I think.
Oh, I'd love to.
All that being said, I think both these guys get 45, 50 points their rookie year. I know people aren't that high on them, but I am because I think they're going to be put wherever they go, whether it's Stenberg to San Jose or whether it's McKenna to Toronto or even it's Stenberg to Vancouver or Chicago. I think these guys are getting over 50 points next year, just off of how they're going to get deployed on the power play. But long term, man, I think you're just going to look at Ivar and it's just like, that's what you want on a cup winger. Like I'm not going to say Sam Reinhart because I don't think he has the defensive prowess yet, but it's like that type of presence on the ice is what I think Ivar can bring to the table. And that's why he's number one for me.
Yeah.
And that's my McKenna spiel too, because I think McKenna's going to be a hell of a fucking... Let's put it this way. If I had a bet on who's going to have a 100-point season, it's Gavin McKenna. Now, who's going to have the higher pointed game and like the better metrics? It's definitely going to be Stenberg in terms of 5-on-5 and possession, in my opinion.
That's what I mean. I think he's more like he's more consistent and safe player. And again, that's not to be like, oh, he's gonna suck. Like, he's still gonna be a very good player. Just like, yeah, McKenna definitely more upside, could have the higher point season, but also he might have more dips than what Stenberg has, and maybe not great underlying numbers, or maybe like more inconsistent. I don't know. But yeah, it's 1A, 1B to me, and honestly, I might. It is very much a stylistic preference because I think the Leafs will go McKenna, but I think if the Hawks are picking one, they probably go Stenberg because they need that kind of style on their team.
And that's why, like, it's the first time two wingers could go top two since Kane and JVR, and there's a reason that hasn't happened often. Like, it's a rare case this draft, and I think, like,
especially for their size, which I don't
it's like a 21-22 draft hybrid. In some cases, because it's got, like you sent it to me earlier, it's got the D-men of the 21 draft, but some of these forwards are going to have that upside, like the Logan Coolies and the Leroy Slavkovskis and whatnot. So, but yeah, I guess I'll go for 3. I got Chase Reed at 3.
So do I. Yeah,
he's become my best defenseman on the board. I think our top 5 might be identical.
Yeah, we'll see.
But there's some traits you can see in his game. He's such a great straight line skater. His confidence with the puck on his stick just reminds me of Dougie Hamilton and Zach Werenski in the best way possible. I say Dougie Hamilton because he's a righty, but like Zach Werenski is what you see. The confidence with the puck in the offensive zone, the vision,
would be, yeah,
the ability to finish, and like from every statistic we've seen, he probably could have been better in the OHL, but a year on a stacked Michigan State team are really going to see what he's capable of. So I just think with that upside in hand and just some of the traits he possesses as a defenseman, like he's number 1 on my board. And like, if he has that offensive upside of even like a Jacob Chikrin, it's probably the best.
Oh, I would love a 20 goal scoring defenseman. Absolutely.
Exactly. And like, that's why I think it should be a no brainer that he's the number 1 D at this point. Now, if you told me this, like 2 months ago, I probably would have had a different opinion, but like we've always been kind of questioning Chase Reed's skyrocket in his rankings. And the more I read it and the more tape I watch, the more I
read.
and we've talked about this. Like after Ivar and fucking Gavin McKenna, these guys are going to be 2 or 3 years out. I think all of them outside of like Albert Schmeetz.
If the Hawks draft him, if he wants to be Cale Makar, it's spring of 2028. Like, you're spending 2 years at college, and Hawks do not need to bring him in. You do not need to rush it like you have with your defenseman in the past. Yeah, like figure out your right side for basically the next 2 years if you draft Chase Reed. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like the Hawks are very interested in Reed. And if the 3 forwards are gone, that's likely who they're going to go with. At least that's what Scott Powers said on his podcast, Powers and Laz, which again should always check out. I think you can going to Patreon, I think it's like a couple of dollars a month, something like that. Worth it because they always have great nuggets in there. But anyways, they went to. We didn't bring up this news last podcast. I think it came out after when I think Ben Pope tweeted it when he was at the combine. But the Hawks went to go visit him at his house and in Michigan, and I think we said before he's friends with Frank Nazar. So the Hawks, though maybe subtle, like you can tell who they're leaning with their draft pick. We've been able to the last couple of years, like Lev Shunov and Frundell, and we always do is going to be Bedard. But I remember seeing a tweet. It was like after the Hawks traded up to pick 18. I think some French reporter was like, the Hawks interviewed Sasha Bovaert and really liked him, and we haven't seen any other news with any of the Hawks linked to prospects. That's the only thing we heard of. So yeah, if the three forwards go a 1, 2, 3, and Chase Reed is picked 4th overall, you and I might be in the minority of Hawks fans, because I get it. You're waiting probably 2 years on another defenseman, but I just think the payoff could be so great with Chase Reed, and you let Lev Shunov and Rinzel and Crevier figure out who they are. Well, I think we know who Crevier is, but you got to figure out Lev Shunov and Rinzel. And you brought up names like Zach Werenski and Dougie Hamilton. You would expect that kind of flash, and hopefully, especially with Werenski, you get to that ceiling with Chase Reed. But this name has been brought around, and maybe not the most popular name, but Seth Jones is also a comparison for Chase Reed. And I think I was reading that he didn't have a great point production in his draft year, and neither did Chase Reed. So there's those similarities too. I think they're also late birthdays. And
Listen,
yeah.
Seth Jones on our timeline, I would still love on this hockey team. He just doesn't fit the timeline. He never did.
Well, we texted it. I texted like, is this Seth Jones trade as bad as we think it was? Like, at worst, I think it's a wash. It's a wash for both sides. Like,
it's a bad wash, you could see
both teams lost, but man, like, if they traded for Seth Jones like any year before that, it's completely different. I just think it was a very good trade at just the worst fucking possible time. And like, if that trade happened in 2018, like what if they just then were like, let's trade 8th overall for Seth Jones if that trade was available, or like they figured out something in 2019 and you made that trade.
Seth Jones and the big 1-9 would have been crazy. What a pairing! But
dude,
yeah, like that. I would love it. I love that too, because we've talked about it all the time. Like when Seth's got the right partner and he's put in the right spots, his strengths are his strengths, and he is a good puck mover. But he's got his moments. He just has his moments, and it's unfortunate. And I think every defenseman does, but his just show up a little more than most.
But also,
I'm curious.
He's a minute eating defenseman. Like if you got Chase Reed, what Seth Jones is now, like that's a 50-point defenseman, could score more than 10 goals, and most importantly is your minute eating defenseman. Yeah.
You need those. And let's be honest, if you can get 2 of Lev Shunov and Rinzel and Crevier to pan out like that, you'll have 3 big minute eaters on the right side. And I don't think there's a lot of teams that can say that. Like if the Hawks draft a Chase Reed or a Verhoff or anything on the right side, like I just think they're going to be in such a strength in that position that I don't think a league has seen since Nashville. Like,
yeah, like we brought up like St. Louis when they had Pietrangelo and Parayko. That's at least like home developed defense, and that's the closest thing I can think of. Yeah,
oh, no, I got Falk after. Never mind.
But no, they got him after. They let Pietrangelo go. Surely that's the only bad good defenseman they let up, because they've traded like Dunn, Mikkola, and Wallman or something like that. Like they traded away a whole left side of good defensemen. Well, they lost Dunn to Seattle in the expansion draft, but you know what I mean. They've lost a lot of good defensemen.
So who do you have
for? I think we have the same. Do you have Viggo Bjork at 4?
I don't. He's at 5. I got Schmitz at 4.
Schmitz at 4. Okay, I have Bjork 4, Schmitz 5 then. So we're pretty similar.
Oh man. Well, I'll let you glisten about Bjork because I know you've been his truther for a while. So
well, anything with just like the name Bjork, I'm a fan of, and now there's a hockey player, not just a singer, Viggo Bjork. again, I'm pretty sure both Stenberg and McKenna got measured below 6 feet anyways, and Viggo Bjork, I think, measured in at 5'9" at the combine. Again, we're placing too much on height, but I still think if he's even 6 feet tall, I think he's closer to the Stenberg McKenna discussion than he is to any of the forwards in the rest of the draft. Like, I was reading an EP prospect or an EP prospect article, and they said that Viggo Bjork is the smartest, like has the best hockey IQ in this draft class, and like how over the year he's been able to elevate his play even more playing against men and the SHL, and how he was able to win puck battles at the World Championships over guys like Ryan O'Reilly on Team Canada, how he's able to win faceoffs. And we talked about the Carolina Hurricanes line of Blake, Stankoven, and Hall. I don't think that's a very tall line. Um, I don't think the Hawks are going to take Bjork, but I could see a team like Calgary stepping up and taking the big swing and drafting Bjork, and I would have so much respect for any team that does it in the top 10. Though he feels like it's him or Schmitz, one of those two, because I think there's such wild cards, especially Bjork. I feel one of those guys is going to drop to Florida, and in like within a year, one of them is going to be in the lineup and already being a contributor for them. That's what I see happening. But yeah, if I'm a team in the top 5, I would take the chance on Bjork. I don't care about the size, dog, oversize. I just see him being as someone who can step into the NHL pretty soon. Maybe not like super high offensive upside, but like be like a 60, 70 point guy and just, again, be a dog. Like, be what a Logan Stankoven or Jackson Blake and Seth Jarvis are in Carolina. Maybe a bit more, especially if you're picking him top 5, but especially if he falls, that's going to be such good value.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir here. I think Bjork's just, he's got such a high floor, and his motor is, we see it every year. Like, everyone who's got a high motor in the draft, you can kind of predict what their floor is just off of that alone.
He's going to play, and I think he's going to play soon too.
Yeah, he's going to get big minutes in the SHL, and I bet he's over the next year. And that's why he's 5 on my list. Like, I have him higher than Malhotra. I have him higher than a lot of these guys, but I got Schmitz at 4. And I just think it's because Schmitz, like, there's a world where he's there in the NHL playing games this year. And I don't think it's too far to say that he could be the most cider of this class. And I've been on that train probably since the Olympics, probably like most people, they saw him at the Olympics. But then I started watching his team in Liga and watched him climb through the ranks. And it's just, he's a very raw prospect. Like, he's going to have his warts in his game. Like, he is the most Artem Levshunov out of this class. Like, let's just put it that way. But I think the floor is extremely high for every Artem Levshunov. Like, I know forwards and defensemen are different, but like, I look at him like the Anton Lundell of this class in a sense, to where we all knew with Lundell the floor. I think everyone knew the floor. There was a reason, like, I was hoping that the Hawks could somehow move up to get him because we knew the floor was high with this guy.
Or we lost to the Oilers and got him. Anyways,
just like I just get rage bait with the Hawks tonight. It's just like I'm having a good talk here. Like, I don't want to think about them right now.
Literally, it's the deep walking into the room whenever I bring
not your call, Prophet Brohaman. Anyways, that's why I have him higher, and I also just think like he is the best left-handed defenseman in this class, and I do think that means something.
If they want to be like, we have too many right-handed defensemen, let's take a left-handed one. Even though like you have Vlasic, Kaiser, and still want to get something out of Korchinski, but yeah, I would go Schmitz as well. I agree with everything you said about Schmitz.
And like, even if I'm the Rangers, I'm going Schmitz. Like, I just think like there's so much upside in a guy like that, to where if you have the right partner for him and the right defensive prospect pool and the right development path, he could legitimately be at, like, I was talking to Drew about this a couple days ago. Like, at worst, I think he's a 4. At best, he might be a 1. And I just don't think you can pass on that. I don't think you could pass on that. And like, who cares if he's cocky? You know who else was cocky? Like, every other good hockey player ever.
Then they say the same about Viggo Bjork too. Like, they just seem so similar in that regard.
Like, whatever, bro. Sorry, these people are confident in their game and they're not pissing down like everyone when they talk to you. Like, Jesus
like
Christ.
Everyone thinks they're like wild cards. It's like, no, I think they're gonna have very high floors because they play the game with such a like competitiveness.
And I think that speaks on our ranking.
Taking that spot.
And I think this is where the draft's going to deter. And I want to be very transparent. Like outside of probably the top 9, I don't know too much about these guys. I'm going off of just a little bit of tape I've watched and point production and stylistic play and stuff like that. But like from here to 9, I have a good say on. And as much as it pains me to say it, I think I got Carl's at 6.
I got Malhotra at 6. I'm just like Carl's. I'm not. It really just feels like Caleb Denoyer, but as a defenseman, like
that's why he's that high, because the floor's there. He is the most bang on second pairing defenseman in this draft, outside of probably Malte Gustafsson, and he's pretty high on my ranking too. Like bang on second pairing defense. Like I've seen it. That I've texted you this the day I've watched his tape. If you could take Travis Sanheim 6 overall in the draft, you're probably doing it. Let's be honest. Guy plays 20 plus minutes a night, and he's like a 35-point defenseman. That's what I think Carl's is at the end of the day, maybe with a little bit more physical presence. Anyone saying it's anything higher than that is fucking delusional, or you're just not watching his tape, in my opinion, because his point production is all coming off the point on the power play. And I've talked to multiple scouts who agree with me on that. I don't see the upside there, but at the same time, this is a draft where I think people are going to draft off the floor and how like projectable you can be. And Carl's is one of the more projectable prospects. So on that alone, I have him 6, but my 7 could get flipped pretty easily. It's not Malhotra. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's not Malhotra. I will say that. It's not.
Oh, it's not Malhotra.
No,
sorry,
it's not.
I misheard. Is it Veerhoff?
It's Veerhoff. Yeah. And I think that's the same case with him where it's like, I don't mean to cut you off with Malhotra because I know you like, I'll get into my Malhotra stuff too, but I want to make the point because I think Carl's and Veerhoff, NHL guys are looking at them the exact same way, just differently. Like everyone's looking at the traits on Veerhoff. He's playing in college as an 18-year-old. He's 6'4". He's got a heavy shot. I don't think
he's 18 yet. As a
not even 18.
Like,
he's probably one. I think he's the youngest D-man in this class.
I think
big body.
Hanifin and Werenski as the only guys who have been 17 and playing the NCAA.
And let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. If he stays in the dub, he's probably a top 4 pick because he's going to put up a shit ton of points, and no one's
because he probably would have scored 30 goals in the WHL.
And I think Veerhoff going to North Dakota early, that's going to matter in a lot of people's eyes. So he and Carl's are looking the same light.
They're both going to be Nodak guys.
Yeah, which is going to be nuts. They'll be on the same pair. So it's going to be an interesting
those defenses are going to be stacked because a lot of those guys are going to college. Like I think Daxon Rudolph, another name who we might bring up in the top 10. I think he's going to Denver. I think Ryan Lynn, another defenseman from the WHL, is also going to Denver. Like, yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of those guys playing in college next year.
But yeah, for me, my 6-7 is Carl's and Veerhoff because I think they're basically the same project. Like I look at Veerhoff like a Colton Parayko with a little more offense. If he can hit everything, that's good for him. So, but like you also have people like Frank Saravalli who think he could be Alex Pietrangelo. And like I 100% get like, listen, if we're going off of tools and like what the tape can show when he's at his best, I get it, but I can't see it yet. But I get why a GM could. Enough. And I just think like 6'4" right-handed defenseman is going to get you farther than a 6'1" center. And that's why he's not higher. And Carl's is only higher just because he's a farm boy and he hits. And I'm not joking and I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious as a fucking heart attack with that one. If fucking listen, I hope Carson Carlos has a great career. I say to you like at least twice a week, I hope that guy was right about the Ryan McDonough comps. Because if he's Ryan McDonough, awesome. I don't think anyone's saying a word about that. I just don't see that.
With Schmitz and Bjork, we brought up high floor, and usually I want to try to swing for ceiling, but I'm like, with those guys, they're almost kind of the safe wild card because I think they have a high floor, but I also think there is like a great ceiling they could achieve and be unique players. Like Albert Schmitz is so physically mature already. He's going to be in NHL and like banging, crashing people, and he could take big slap shots too. Like sometimes the decision making isn't there, but also like he's so aggressive. So yeah, there is a lot of similarities with Lev Shunov and Schmitz, but I think like seeing him play in a men's league and from what I've seen and heard, like he's a lot more polished than what Lev Shunov is. Maybe not quite the ceiling, but I just think of Schmitz as someone who he's proved it against men. You brought that up with Stenberg, and so has Bjork. Like, I think they can translate their game into the NHL, whereas guys like Carroll's, Veeroff, I'm maybe a little more skeptical.
I'd like to make one more note with Albert
Yeah.
Schmitz. He had more points in his
Mhm.
draft year in the league
And
than
Slavkovsky.
Slavkovsky. So it's just
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to say it's apples to apples.
It's not a
but
1-to-1
it's fucking
comparison.
close.
I think it's worth noting. Yeah.
It's at least worth taking into consideration. I'm done glazing Schmitz. That's my 6 and 7, and I think you can understand why I'm thinking that direction. But also, at the same time, I did rank 4 out of my next 5 as defensemen. I don't know if the draft falls like that. So, just my rankings.
Yeah.
I want to hear your talk though.
With I was gonna say one more thing on Bjork and Schmitz, but I'm already forgetting. Yeah, Karels and Veerhoff, like I just see them as second pairing. Like Veerhoff, I could very much get the swing because he's very toolsy, but I just don't think he's quite put together. Like he's gonna need another couple more years at Nodak. Malhotra, I just think the likelihood of you getting like a guaranteed 2C over the guaranteed second pairing defenseman, whether that's Karels or Veeroff, is more of a guaranteed thing. I don't think he's a 1C, but just like the projectability and the safety of him probably being a 2C, a guy who can get you 60 or 70 points, and hopefully you're putting him up against other teams' toughest opponents, and you're locking him down. Maybe he's getting sulky votes. I think that's what you're hoping out of with Malhotra, that there's more growth because he's gotten bigger and he has a June birthday and he's going, I believe, to Boston University. So again, leave him there for 2 years. Maybe I guess it applies for everyone. If you can excel after 1 year and sign with the Hawks, then great. But I think you start off like 2 years and then you can sign after your second year.
Yeah, and I 100% agree where you're coming from, Malhotra. I think it's funny when I started watching his tape, like I was looking like, he kind of looks like Dylan Strome at times in the O, but at the same time I watch more of it, I'm just like, if Matty Beniers was in the O, this is probably what it would have looked like.
Yeah, that was a great comparison. Like,
yeah,
the Kraken took him second overall, and like he hasn't quite got to, because he won the Calder, but he isn't quite where maybe people thought he could be, but still a great two-way forward, and I think he's been like a 50 points guy, but maybe that's not quite what you want to get in the top 5.
And that's why, like, as much as the agenda ball is getting played with Malhotra at 3, I just don't see it. Like, I'm in a world right now where I just look at 1, 2, 3 as it's going to be some combination of McKenna and Stenberg and Ree, because I just don't see a world where Malhotra goes 3. I just can't see that. And I'm going to be honest, I don't see a world where the Hawks take him 4. Like, I think if Vancouver doesn't take him 3, the first spot Malhotra might go is Calgary. Because I don't think the Rangers are passing.
The Rangers will take him.
I mean, the Rangers might. Yeah. I agree. They haven't had a good.
I think they need everything
at that point. I know, but also like, what's more valuable, the defenseman that's going to be here after you eventually trade Adam Fox, or the center that's going to be here after JT Miller? I don't know. That's your guess. So, I get where you're coming from with Malhotra. The ceiling. I don't know, man. I'm not that high on the forwards in this class outside of the top 2 and Bjork. Like, it's just, I don't think the ceiling's as high on some of these guys. I think there could be some good second line winger. Like, I think there's a lot of good middle 6 talent in this draft. And I hope I'm wrong. Like, I'm definitely gonna be wrong about a couple of these guys, but it's just like, it's hard to project an offensive ceiling on some of these players, like outside of the top 2. And Malhotra's one of them. Like 50 points, I agree with. Who do you have at 7? I'm curious.
So my 6, 7, and 8 is Malhotra, Veeroff, and Carroll's.
Okay, gotcha. So like we're basically the same there. What's your 9?
9, I got Dax and Rudolph. I don't think there's like, I don't think the Hawks are to draft them. But again, yeah, we're going down the draft board, and like, yeah, they're picking 4. So like, from what I know, it sounds like the top 4 is pretty set. Like, it might be like, yeah, again, if Vancouver doesn't take Malhotra, though, that could mess things up. Maybe Chicago does want Malhotra again. I don't know. We still don't really know much before coming to the draft. Like, McKenna might go first, but like, we still don't know what San Jose is doing. And we've heard from everyone in Vancouver that's going to be Malhotra, but it sounds like their front office
There's
is
3
split,
camps.
and who knows the Hawks, what with the Hawks. So at this point, if they can get one of Stenberg or Reed, over the moon, honestly. And like, if they went off the board and took Schmitz and Bjork, I haven't seen them linked to any of those. Like, the only name I've seen them linked to
It's Reed.
as like actually seeing is Reed. So
and Ivar, obviously, but they've been linked to him since fucking January.
Yeah,
so.
they've been watching him in Sweden for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Scott Power said in his article, if the top 3 forwards are gone, they go Reed. So if Malhotra's available, do they go him? I don't know. But
It really makes you think.
yeah, I think there's a clear-cut top 8 personally. Like, I think the top 8 of McKenna, Stenberg, Reed, Bjork, Schmitz, Malhotra, Virov, and Carroll's. Like, I think that's the consensus top 8 from what I've seen.
I agree. I think the only one that could wild card in there is probably Daxon Rudolph, and it's just because I hear some people say he's like their 3rd defenseman in the class, and I just don't see that. I don't see the speed, I don't see the motor, and I don't see the competitiveness, which is why he's 10 on my list, and then Tynan Lawrence is 9, just because I know they're all hating on him right now, but I still think the ceiling's there with him. I saw what he did at Muskegon. Like, he is a very good player. He just had a bad year at BU, and he's going to have Malhotra to help balance that. So I had Lawrence at 9 and Rudolph at 10.
Yeah, so I have Rudolph at 9. I also put Lawrence at 10, and then 11 and 12 I put Wyatt Colladon because we need another Nepo baby in here, and Ethan Belchitz. Yeah, Lawrence maybe not like messed up his chances, but slowed things down from what he was doing in the USHL by choosing to go to college midway through the year. And I'm pretty sure he's on Boston University on a team that was struggling. So maybe just a full year at Boston University after being drafted will do him well. I think maybe the most intriguing options after that, if swing for upside, I think it would be Wyatt Cullen and Ethan Belchitz. Ethan Belchitz was thought of quite highly going into the year, and being like 6'5", 230. Teams might take a swing on him high. I don't know. And Wyatt Cullen has been such a big riser because I think he's just grown so much. Like, and when he entered the U.S. development program, he was like 5'5", and now he's 6'1". I think he's one of the later birthdays, and yeah, he just has like a very intriguing skill set, very skilled, and I think very fast as well. So I wonder if he rises into the top 15. But from what I've seen and heard, that would be an interesting guy to go in the top half of the draft. So yeah, I got 9 is Rudolph, Lawrence is 10th, Colin 11th, and Belchitz 12. That's how I got.
So for me, it's Lawrence 9, Rudolph 10, Malte Gustafson 11, and then Belchitz 12. So I think you and I were going 2 different routes here. At least the way that we were kind of writing this up, because I was going off of like, the draft goes 2 different ways. They go off of production and they go off of tools and projection. And that's kind of how I built mine, because I just think Malte Gustafson, money in the bank, second pairing defensive defenseman, in my opinion. Like, it's just, and he's only gotten bigger and he's getting stronger. He's playing against men. And like, you watch this guy on tape, it looks like Gustav Forsling, but just 6'5". Teams are gonna love that, especially at that range, because those are teams that are like just trying to sneak into the playoffs. Like, you're telling me St. Louis wouldn't want to get their hands on that? Like, that's like, I know, like the rich, the mid get bitter, but that's not the point. I'm really high on Gustafson. He's rose up my board the second half of the year, and I just think the tools being there, 6'4", smooth skater, he's got a good first pass. Offense showed a little more in the second half of the year. I think he's gonna be a high riser. And same goes for Belchitz. Like, the tools are there. Like, there's not a power forward like that in this draft outside of him. Like, all the other guys that I would have put there, like, there's 2 other guys I'm looking at right now that would be like the power forwards, and then like there's another tier of them. But like, Belchitz still has that top 10 potential, in my opinion. Like, it wouldn't even shock me if a team like Florida took a flyer on him, and it's just like, go learn under Kachuk for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like,
or St. Louis or Nashville. Like,
that's such a St. Louis pick, Jesus.
Us.
But yeah. I look at the tools there. I think that guy could be money in the bank, like 20 goal, 25 assist guy, net front presence. Like, that's a bigger Tyler Bertuzzi potentially. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. So I think that's why he'd be a top 12 for me. I will be honest though, Wyatt Cullen's 13 for me. I do see the upside there. Like ever since you brought him up, I started watching tape. Obviously the growth spurt helps, but he's just got wicked hands. It's insane. And he could potentially be the Zach Benson of this class if it ends up falling like that. That's kind of how I've been looking at it the more I watch tape on him. So he's 13 on my list. The only reason I got those two above him is just because I think at the end of the day, I think teams, especially as barbaric as it is, are going to value a power forward, and they're going to definitely value a defensive defenseman. But I guess you can get that later. But also I think, I don't know, Malte Gustafsson, I think is just like bang on second pairing defenseman. Can't miss it. Like, yeah, he's probably not going to get like 30 points a year, but like, that's a guy who's probably going to get 5 goals, 15 assists, play 22 minutes a night, and be a great penalty killer. And you can't buy those. I mean, you can, but it's going to be a lot.
They don't grow on trees.
Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. Like, if he's Jonas Brodin, that's such a fucking win. You know what I mean? 6'5" Jonas Brodin. I think teams could use that. So,
especially if he drops like into the teens. Again, just like. I think Florida at 9 would make sense for Gustafsson. Like, I think they're gonna take a swing on a bigger defenseman or Bjork. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like they're just gonna have all the Latvians now. Yeah, I have Gustafsson at 13. I then have Ryan Lynn at 14. And then 15, like I only went up to 18. I thought I did 20, but I also did put some like honorable mentions in there. Number 15, Oscar Hemming, and then Elton Hermansen at 16, and then I have Xavier Villeneuve 17th and Nikita Klepov at 18th to round things out for my list.
So last bit on my end, I have Oliver Suvanto 14, or I guess Cullen 13, Suvanto 14. Ryan Lynn 15, Nikita Klepov 16, Adam Novotny 17, Elton Hermansen 18.
That was one of my honorable mentions. Yeah,
I went to 20, so I had Villanova at 19 and then Piparainen at 20 because I think Piparainen's a very projectable defenseman there as well. Lot of mix of skill. Like I think if we're talking upside, I think you and I are both like. It's nice to know that we both put Klepov because I just think like point production's insane. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, but
yeah,
the prospect I want to talk about is Oliver Suvanto because like this guy is the youngest guy in this draft. He doesn't turn 18 till September, and he's already 6'3", like 210, playing against men.
Oh,
point production's not there, but the physical traits are there. And I just think that's a guy, like I have him higher than Oscar Hemming. Like Oscar Hemming isn't in my top 20 right now. And I think that's just because like he's the guy that I haven't watched the most of. So that might be on me, but I don't know. Oliver Savantos rose up my rankings after learning like the age and just what he's done as a young 17-year-old. Like it's really something to behold. And like you put him in an organization that knows how to just mold that. Like we talk about all the time. Like, can you mold this piece of clay into a piece of art? And if you put you put Savanto on like the Capitals, let's say, and he can learn from the Protas brothers and Tom Wilson. Like that's gonna be a fucking problem, bro. Like I look at the Caps, I think they have like
they can make that pick too. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. They have picked 16 and 18. Like if 16 and 18 they go him and Klepov, like holy shit, what a draft! Like what a draft! Oh my god! Or you get him and like Villanova or him and Piparainen. Like you could do so much of that, or you can trade up and go get like a Malte Gustafsson to have that guy behind Ferravari down the line. Like the Caps are going to be an interesting team because I think this is the group of names they should be looking at. Like, let's be honest, trade up and go get Wyatt fucking Cullen. Like you could do a lot if you're the Capitals with those picks. And like, this is why I said like the drafts doesn't have like the flash of like a 2023 draft, but I think it's going to be a draft we look at down the line. It's like, we got a lot of good middle six and, middle pairing defensemen, bottom four defensemen. Like, I think this is going to be one of those drafts where a really good depth draft. And I do think there's the upside to be had of like, I'll be honest, probably like 5 top 4 defensemen, bare minimum in the top 10. And then at least 2 star wingers. So there's a lot of potential with this class. And that's just me talking with my dumb chud casual brain. So we'll just see what happens down the line.
Yeah, so like Gustafson number 13 for all the reasons you said. I would just rather take a swing on the forwards, but yeah, I think that's such a safe bet to be a second pairing presence, penalty killer, maybe not crazy offense, but yeah, be a minute seater. Um Ryan Lynn is a smaller right-hand defenseman, played with the Vancouver Giants. He's going to the University of Denver.
Welcome back, Ian Mitchell.
um but yeah, I just don't know at that size if he's gonna be anything like, yeah, maybe he's Jared Spurgeon or something, but yeah, I don't know if he's in the level of like the defenseman we've mentioned before. Oscar Hemming, kind of the same as Oliver Savanto, but played in college this year, and same thing, like 6'4" frame, less than 200 pounds, August 2008 birthday, which is crazy to see. So again, just like a piece of clay, waiting to be molded, but might take a couple years to do so. Like if the Hawks were able to move it and get that could be another Vaclav Nestrasil. And then
There's
yeah,
at least 5 guys in this teens range that I would trade multiple seconds, even one of those late. Like I trade Florida's first to get back in this first round if they really see a guy they like. Because I think there's a couple guys, like the Hawks have the luxury of, like, if they wanted to get like an Oscar Hemming, they could literally let him sit there for 4 years to develop. And it could just be a guy that shows up when this team needs him most. When you gotta, price out some people if they're ever good. But you never know. I agree though. Oscar Hemming, just another mold of clay. He's honestly the name I forgot in my top 20, but like he could eat. He's gonna be a guy that's gonna go like top 10 just off his fucking size and playing in college. Let's be honest. He's the Matthew Wood of this class. He doesn't even know it yet. Welcome. Get ready to learn Nashville Predator, buddy. Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say that, just like, yeah, that Florida, Nashville, St. Louis range. Like there's gonna be a couple players that go to each team, and you're like, fuck, of course they ended up on those teams. And then yeah, just like Xavier Villeneuve, I don't, again, kind of the same thing with Ryan Lynn. Like I'm skeptical, him playing the QMJHL, how he did, how that's gonna translate to university, but I don't know, maybe worth a shot drafting Villeneuve maybe later on, like in the late teens or early 20s. But yeah, if he gets to the second day, which could be a thing, I really hope the Hawks take a swing with one of their many seconds if they don't trade up to get him.
Yeah, I just think the Hawks are going to trade up. There's no way they're using 3 early seconds.
No,
Like,
they're going to trade for
Kyle
32nd
Davidson holding his hands at the draft. Come on.
No, that's one thing we can't blame him for. That man loves to make a draft move and has tried to make many more draft moves. So I'll
make one that benefits
guess.
the on ice team. That'd be so sick. Anyways,
literally trade up for the second overall. I don't care at this point. How much do you like Ivar Stenberg, or are you taking the field? Like, do you like Ivar Stenberg?
Are we going Hawk stock now? Are we going Hawk stock now? Is this what's
happening? I mean, we could. I don't know what else like do you want, but I think to me there's a clear top 8 in this class, and maybe the orders aren't all the same, but I think McKenna, Stenberg, Reed, Bjork, Schmitz, Malhotra, Virov, and Carroll's, like, I think that's the top 8. Well, maybe some people might disagree with Bjork, and maybe they put like Rudolph in there, but I've seen mid-season more mock drafts and rankings having Bjork like in that range. So I don't know.
He's a late riser.
Yeah. I just wonder how early he will go on draft day, and if he doesn't, then some team, again, Florida, St. Louis, Nashville, that range, one of those teams are going to pick him. We're like, of course they ended up there, or maybe they ruin him, especially in the case of Nashville. But I don't know. We can make it about Hawks talk. I don't know, what is there really to talk about.
Oh no, you were asking about Ivar. That's why I was like, is that where we're
going?
Well,
like, I think that's more. I don't.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to like deteriorate from the question. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. Like, but yeah, that's my question. How much, like, if they really want to get out of our Stenberg, I think they can. Like, you're definitely giving up a first round pick next year, and you're probably giving you might have to give up 2 of your seconds this year. But again, at this point, why do you care if you get Ivar Stenberg. Like you had all these are the reasons you have all these draft picks. Like you can make a trade where everyone else outside of Chicago is like, that's an overpayment just to move up 2 spots. But if you believe in Ivar Stenberg that much, he is going to be in the lineup next year, and that is going to be Connor Bedard's winger for the future. And he finally has a legitimate winger. You don't have to do any more moves for the offseason. Yay! Like, if you make your crazy draft day trade, then you don't have to do anything the rest of the way. Like, literally, if they get Ivar Stenberg, yeah, they do need a defenseman. I think just from the amount I've been hearing Scott Powers saying they're going to get one, I think they're going to get one. Whether how good it is remains to be seen, but they're going to get a defenseman. But yeah, if that's all they do, Stenberg and get like a veteran defenseman, I'm fine with that. I don't know. I didn't want to go too deep into it, but
here's my thought process. If they're gonna go get a defenseman, like trade for one, I would, and you want to make sure Ivar's on the team. I think I'm very comfortable with going Florida first and Korchinski with 4. Like, no second thoughts. You can even take one of the seconds of your choice. Like, and if it's an overpay down 5 years down the line, I will at least give you credit for taking the swing on a guy that I was 100% down on as the number 1 guy in my board. You're not going to hear complaints out of me on that one. Trading your own first next year, I think that would be a little too far. Hell, even Edmonton's I would be a little on the fence about, because I just think that's an interesting pick. Like, such an interesting pick. Like, it's not even funny.
Yeah, whereas Florida, it's like it's probably going to be
it's going to be like in the teens.
Worst.
It's going to be in the teens somewhere, because they're either making the playoffs or they're just missing. So, but like, let's say, a name I've been thinking about lately, and it's a name that was like on those top 25 trade boards. Like, what if they go get like a Mason Lohrei for the top 6, and then your top
boy?
Yeah, and we talked about this before, and it's just like he kind of fits the window. He's what, 24, 25? Yeah. And you could put him with a Levshunov, you could put him with a Renzel, and then that's your top 6. And obviously you would trade Korchinski for Stenberg at that point. Like, if that's what you run with, I'm fine with it. Like, I think I told you today, like, the Hawks have been linked to Alex Tuch too much for me not to entertain it at this point. Like, if all they do is Chase Reed and overpay Alex Tuch, I don't think I could be mad. At the end of the day, I don't think I could be mad, because they added a 60-point guy. So I don't know, man. There's just so many ways to where they can come out of this looking like not stupid. So let's hope they figure it out. Like, what would you give up for Ivar? You've heard what I would give up. It's Korchinski and Florida's 1, and probably a 2. Let's say it's the middle 2, whichever one. I think that's Toronto's. Give them Toronto's 2.
I don't care. I would give 4th and all their seconds for Stenberg. Like,
100%.
But yeah, if you're San Jose, you want to upgrade the reason why you're moving back is because you want to get a defenseman. Like,
would you give up Crevier?
Yes, I would.
I think I would too.
Renzel,
if you really believe in Renzel and Levshunov that much, you do it.
I don't know. Again, like, this whole thing about being a general manager is like there's no one specific way to build your team. Like, if they got rid of Crevier and wanted to fill that hole on the right side, then you go on free agency and sign John Carlson or Jacob Trouba or whoever else.
Maybe
you go radio goodness. Maybe you just go crazy and bring Darren Radish back into the organization after he was with Rockford all those years ago.
Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Only Jeremy Colton remembers this name, but it's at the point where anything they do to help improve this team, even if it's an overpayment in the trade department, if you're wanting to move up against Stenberg and truly believe in him that much, and I would have no problem with that. I don't think anyone else would have a problem with that. Maybe people outside that are around Chicago will be like, haha, you overpaid just to move up 2 spots. Like, I don't care. We got Stenberg. Yeah.
Cares. The rest of the league's dumb. They think if we're at 4, we would trade down. Like,
no.
They think if Stenberg falls to 4, we would trade down. Like, there are people with actual brains that think that. It's hysterical. Like,
as much as we question this front office trust me, if he's there at 4, they're taking him,
Oh,
and they're
ending
not trading
stream
that pick.
in 2 weeks, guys. Unfortunately, if that happens. But
What if they don't take him at 4? They trade at 4.
can I leave us with
cutting
one
the block?
Can I leave us with one closing question on the Hawks and maybe the show? Because I think it's a good one to end on. You mentioned it earlier. Like, it sounds like they're going to trade for a defenseman.
Yeah.
One guess. Who do you think it is?
That's the thing. Like, there is a part of me that's excited of, like, it's going to be someone we don't think of. We always bring back the Sergachev trade. I just think it's going to be from a team that they have a bunch of defensemen already. And I don't know. From what we're hearing from them, they want to sell off guys. Matt Barzell is one of the guys. You putting the name Pelican in our head, or I think it was actually Ben who texted it originally.
Shout out Belchi, GOAT.
But it's him or Romanov. Like, that makes so much sense. And we have, like, it sounds like they want to take back draft picks and maybe prospects. So I don't know what Matthew Darsh's plan is, but that does make a lot of sense. And, like, eventually the Islanders are going to have to move on from their left-hand defenseman because they're going to have to, like, sign Matthew Shaver, and he's going to want a lot of money. He's going to be worth it. I just think them trading Pelech makes most logical sense because I think he only has 3 years left.
3 years at 6, I believe. It's not bad.
I don't care. The money literally.
His analytics are incredible, and the eye test always defends it. He's an incredible defensive defenseman.
Oh, also, Romanov would be hilarious just because that you get Nazar and Romanov after they were involved in the trade for Doc.
But Romanov, man,
and he's really locked up for 6.5 until 2033. But yeah, looking at Minnesota's blue line, they have Isaiah George, and they also have Keyshawn Aitchison in the system on their left side. So I think one of them might have to go. So that makes the most sense. But
so
I do like we like hear the Hawks like, but when they do make trades, it's kind of out of nowhere. Like, I want to bring up earlier, like the Seth Jones for Spencer Knight trade was just such a good fair trade for both teams. Like, and but we never expected Spencer Knight was going to be the return.
That's fair.
Like there's just going to be a trade. I hope they make a trade where it's like, I don't know, where it's like, oh, I never thought of that. Well, that's a great trade and that's a great fit.
I fear that I've thought too much about this trade to where I think I've thrown like every name in the wheel. So it's just like it'd take a lot for them to surprise me at this point. Like at least because like you can be honest, Pierce. How many names have I thrown to you in terms of like defensemen they could trade for? I've at least thrown 25 this offseason.
A lot.
Like let's keep it
a lot.
I
think would be surprising if they like went for a smaller defenseman. Like I'm just throwing it. Like, what if they got Olin Zellweger from Anaheim?
I'd be genuinely
I'm just putting a
shocked
name after
that Davidson went for
like,
that, but I'd be so fucking down.
I think that's what would shock me if they got a defenseman that doesn't usually fit their prototype because they usually like bigger skating, like well skating defensemen. But Zellweger is more smaller, so I wonder if they would go after someone like that.
It'd be sick. It'd be something that they don't have in their pool. That's why I kind of go back to like when Villanova got brought to our attention, it just makes a little too much sense to have something different in your pool. So that from that point, I agree. And the one I've fallen in love with the most, like that you mentioned, was Romanov. Like I love Pelech, but I just think he's so good defensively.
I would much rather have Romanov. I just think it's more like they would trade Pelech, and I would still very much take them.
I'd also like Romanov because, like, just from like a not logistics, but like a human standpoint, like you'd have another Russian on the team for Kancerov and Levshinov, and that does matter. Like Mikheyev plays a big role in that right now. Like I think if you had Romanov locked up for 7 years, that helps. But there's just we talk about names getting thrown around and like people wanting to move money and all this shit. And like more I circled around Morgan Riley for a bit, but I don't think that's the name.
No,
he's not gonna want to go. He's not gonna wait to Chicago. No. This guy was already interested in Chicago. We know this. And this is when they were already on the downturn. And he's gonna get top pair minutes if he comes here. And you can help the other team either get a forward or a defenseman. It depends on what they want. I would think it's a forward because there's such a backlog on their back end and the trade protection wouldn't check out. Like, I really do think there's a solution here with Dougie Hamilton to the Hawks.
I was gonna say, is it Doug Ham?
It's got to be. It's got to be Dougie Ham sandwich. And like, shout out Ben again. That's another name he brought into my brain like a month ago or 3 weeks ago. And I haven't, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Like, we were one of the only teams linked to Hamilton back then. That's the fact. Like, it was us and New Jersey. And maybe there was another team in there that I don't remember, but like I know we were in on Hamilton if he got to the open market. I know that much, but we traded for Seth beforehand. So great job, guys. But like, I just look at it like Dougie Hamilton is obviously down the depth chart in New Jersey. He's going to want out. He's already shown interest in wanting to come to a location like this. The city, like Chicago sells itself. Off ice sells itself. On ice, you would be the number one.
Those good museums, right?
Yeah. Decent. Off ice or on ice, you're going to be the number one defenseman. You're going to get all the power play minutes for the 2 years that you'd be here.
You're getting 50 points, pal.
In the bank, not even a question. Yeah. Probably getting 15 goals if we're being honest. Like, it takes the pressure off Levshunov and Rinzel immensely. Maybe you bump one of him or Rinzel or Crevier to the left so you can make it work a little differently.
Figure it out when you got Hamilton.
Exactly. I just think Dougie Hamilton would help this back end out in ways that a forward can't in some ways. Like, if it's between Hamilton and Alex Tuck, I might take Hamilton. Just because I think what he could bring to the offense of this team, 5-on-5 and on the power play. And like, yeah, Dougie Hamilton's probably going to miss time. You know what that's going to benefit? This team that is littered with prospects. Like we talk about all the time. Like, we don't want to build a team to where one injury happens and they fall off a cliff. You get Dougie Hamilton and he gets hurt. It's time to see if Sam Rinzel or Artem Levshunov can step up. Like, I know I talked about it for the last month that we need to get Lev or Artie a partner, but I think it's more important to win hockey games, and I think Dougie Hamilton's going to get you your best fucking shot at it, and I know he would like a change of scenery. And he's getting pushed down the depth chart, let's be honest. We talked about this the second he got Nemec, I guess the second they drafted Nemec. Yeah. And there's no way they're trading a 20. Yeah, and there's no way they're trading a 22-year-old over him to make room. There's no fucking way. And maybe he doesn't want to waive, and that's fine. But also, like,
he was linked to San Jose too. Like, I think he
that's fair.
Would be interested in a change of scenery.
I just think, man, he would make such a fucking difference on this team. It would be unbelievable. It'd be unbelievable. And I wouldn't even expect him to be a stalwart defensively. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for you to be the best offensive defenseman you could be. I'm asking for what you did in New Jersey when you had 73 points one year. I'm asking for what you did when you had 60 points in New Jersey one year. I'm also asking for what you did in Carolina. Fuck it. I don't care. We talked about it. The bar's so low. Get 40 points. We're going to be jumping for joy. We haven't had a defenseman over 30 points.
He's basically money in the bank for at least 10 goals and 40 points.
And like, as much as I would love Vince Dunn, I don't think he's available. So I think it's easier to get Dougie Hamilton. So he's number one.
I think he is. It's just the price that you would have to pay.
Yeah. But Hamilton's number one for me. As much as I want it to be Romanov, it's Hamilton. Because I think he just makes such a difference.
You're definitely having to give up a lot for Romanov, whereas Dougie Hamilton, I could just see it as like cap dump.
Screw it. Give him one of our first. I don't care. Give him
or maybe
like one. Screw it.
I don't know. Not that I think would happen, but like that just feels like a trade where it's like, here's Burakovsky to like come up with the money back.
Better. Yeah. Teravainen.
You figure it out. Yeah, Teravainen as well.
They need depth scoring. And Teravainen is not going to play fourth line minutes next year. Let's be honest.
No, like if their guys all pan out to what they be and they draft Stenberg, like Table kind of doesn't really have a spot. And if they want him to re-sign Mikheyev too, like
that's more what I mean. Like if they want to bring him back, he's off the top 9 easily. So I think there's a trade to be made there. I think there's a trade to be made there, and it makes sense for both sides if both parties are willing to work. And I know Sonny Meno will be ready to dance. So
he's gonna make moves. Like I think new GMs aren't just gonna sit on their hands. Like That's just why I hope leads to more trade activity than we got in the last few years. Because it's like,
Anyways, get ready for
going up.
fucking Ben Sherratt. Anyways,
Get ready how I'm about to unleash all of this nothing on the NHL.
in other news, the U.S. scored like 5 minutes into their game, so that's sick.
Oh, the FIFA game? Canada
Yeah.
tied against Bosnia earlier.
Let's
They got
go!
their first ever point, and it was in Toronto.
Toronto,
Which is where
Toronto
we're gonna
City.
be. Which is where we're gonna be in 2 weeks. Remember when I hit the walk-off home run to send the World Series back to Toronto?
Toronto.
Toronto.
And the Sox are beating the Dodgers. Get excited.
And we're beating the Stankies right now, 7-3. Just check that.
Oh!
Finally got Kirk back. Kirk is finally back. They revived him, and now he's gonna be catching. So excited.
We carried the flame long enough. Anyways, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, try 2 months without Alejandro Kirk. One last
Jesus.
One last thing I wanted to bring up. You were texting me earlier, and like you just brought up the word like there needs to be a floor for this team, and I'm like thinking that's exactly how I think of the Hawks, because they could have a very high ceiling this year, but you need to make moves to ensure there's a floor for this team, because if what happens this year again, like what happened last year, and your top players get injured or you have a big injury or something happens, then you just completely free fall. Like we need to make sure that doesn't happen. And again, if they could somehow make a trade for Robertson, that'd be nice. If they get Stenberg in the draft, that'd be nice. But like, I'm going to keep bringing up this name like I have with Trevor Zegers in the pack. If they get a Kent Johnson and like they get some kind of second pairing defenseman, either to help out your young guys and they're more stay at home, or just to like
You're automatically
get a power
better.
play guy, Dougie Hamilton. Like I promise you, they're gonna get like 32, 33 wins. Again, might not sound a lot, but the bar has been so goddamn low.
Unfortunately. But that's why it's all it takes is a couple moves. It takes a couple fucking moves.
I am ready
more
to
weeks.
be the biggest. I am so ready to be the biggest kiss ass for Kyle Davidson if he even just makes like
all I want to do is eat crow in July. Let me do it
on the live stream.
But yeah, 2 more weeks of delusions. I don't know if we're gonna hold up, but
I'm kind of
We'll
at
make
my
it.
wit's end for seeing all these rumors. I just need to see it happen.
we'll make it. We can do it.
We'll get there. It's gonna fly by, and then we're gonna be like, what the hell happened to our few days off in Toronto? Honest gut check. We're 2 weeks out from the draft now. Who do we think we're getting up for? I think it's gonna be Chase Reed. Ivar, you're thinking Ivar right now?
Holding that ground, holding it.
Again, sounds like it could just be blue balling again, but it makes too much sense for them to take a defenseman. Like
I think
they would
take
take
a wild card.
Yeah, I think that's changed because we heard Malhotra where it's like sounds like they got a little bit of a smoke screen like last time, but sounds like they really like Reed and maybe even Veerhoff and Carroll's. But I think if they go defensive, they're taking Reed. But yeah, I guess we'll see how much powers the Sedin twins have if they take Stenberg, which I think if that went the top 3, that would kind of be the most disastrous one. Like if one of
What I'm preparing
Stenberg
for.
or Reed falls.
That's what I'm preparing for. Got to prepare for the worst. That's what we did with Bedard, and it worked out great. So
yeah,
just preparing to where Stenberg and Reed are off the board, and it's Malhotra or probably Carl's.
Maybe Carl's. Yeah,
just prepare for that,
Yeah.
and you'll be ecstatic when it's something different. So, but I'm not steering away. I still believe it's Ivar. You just have to be pessimistic enough to allow the delusion to kick in.
One of us has got to be positive. One of us got to be pessimistic.
Nah, we're both doomers. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Dude, I can bring all the energy. If we want to be super delusional with the Hawks, I can. If we want to be super doomer, I'm there with you. Anyways, I can't believe I just did a podcast high for almost two. We're at 2 hours and 17 minutes. That's crazy. Thank you for tuning in and listening. I actually thought I did a lot better than I thought I was, but yeah, I'm definitely like, I need to get some food in my stomach and rest now. Give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, whether that is Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, whatever the hell services they have it on now. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content, because as always, there's gonna be little video clips out from the show, and you can watch the show on YouTube. So yeah, for Bierce and Dylan, take it easy, y'all, and we will talk another time, maybe right before the draft and when the NHL season is over. Peace.